Wamboozle, bamboozle, samboozle. It is Hotline League episode 47. Boy, do we have an incredible show for you tonight because right now you're saying, wait, the headline says, and I only see, and that where is she? Well, guess what? She's coming in about 45 minutes. I know you're just going to seek on the timeline. I get it. Whatever. But Sjokz is joining us tonight live in the Travis Gafford Industries studio. I pulled up a shitty old chair that I have in my office for her. That's going to be happening. We're going to be talking about Worlds because Groups for Plans is done. There's stuff to talk about there. There's rumors from Europe. All that and more coming up right now on Hotline League. And this is where, if we had announced a sponsor, the sponsor would play on screen and there'd be a logo and it'd be like, Hotline League is brought to you by. But we can't announce the sponsor yet. Just know that this show is sponsored by a mystery sponsor. More on that later.
Not later tonight, though.
Well, we do the ad break.
Are you gonna talk? Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm not announcing anything, but we do the ad break anyway, out of courtesy to them.
Right.
So we're now into Hotline League episode 46. It's not Tidy Cat. Sorry, guys. Tidy
Cat's dream is dead.
Yeah.
My cat, as you can tell, very disappointed in the death of Tidy Cat sponsorship possibilities.
Yeah. And by the way, Tidy Cat's still an incredible brand. Still love what they've done. And they just are not. They're not entering esports at this time. I guess it's very unfortunate. Mike is peaking because you're screaming instead of how you usually talk. Okay, I will try not to scream. Regardless, Worlds is happening. By the way, we're filming this on a Thursday instead of Monday. Mark, do you want to explain why?
Yeah, I was too tired to do it on Monday, so I lied to Travis and said that because play-ins haven't started, it'd be better to do it, or until play-ins haven't finished the group stage, we should wait until that happens, which is today, and it's also the break day for all of us. So it actually was a very fortunate lie because now Sjokz will be able to join us because it's our off day.
Yeah. Yep, and that worked out very well. By the way, somebody in chat says, you say you want to be more professional, Travis, and then you lead in the show with this. I've never said I want to be more professional. Quite the opposite. I
think we want the scene to be more professional, but not us specifically.
Yeah. If everyone else could be more professional, that would be great.
That would really level us up if the rest of these fuckers could step it up.
Yeah. Because we want as big of a delta between what we do here. Anyway, Mark, how's everything? You only did 2 days, right?
No, I actually did all 4.
Oh, really? Okay, I have a call. This might be from her. I need to check.
All right. Well,
hello, this is Travis.
Can you mute so I can fill? We're in front of 7,000 people. 7,000 people. Tell them to exaggerate. Exaggerate how many people you're in front of to sound impressive.
That was my brother, but I didn't recognize the number because he has a new phone. So I thought it was Sjokz. Wouldn't have answered normally. I apologize to everybody here. But Sjokz will be here. Sorry, continue, Mark. So you did a couple days.
Yeah, I did all 4 days. I was only slated to do 3, but Zyrene has been sick a little bit, so I had to hop in there and grab a little bit of his time.
Oh, you did do all 4 days?
Yes, I did all 4 days.
I thought there was one day you were... Maybe... Okay. Anyway.
No, there was one day Did you listen to anything I just said?
On Hotline League, did you go in on Hotline League Day?
Yes.
Okay.
I went in every single day.
Okay. That's crazy.
I'm crazy.
Yeah. I didn't even notice. Anyway, so let's so how's the broadcast been going? What do you think of plans? People seem to be very enthusiastic about them.
They've been really good because even though we got all the pool 1 seeds out as, the number 1 seed, which is kind of like lame from a results perspective, EDG lost a game, C9 should have lost a game and looked pretty shaky sometimes. G-Rex dominated their group when people didn't think they would be good, and G2 lost a game and had to play a tiebreaker. So it was, all things considered, actually pretty nutty to watch, even if the results don't look crazy when you see the end kind of payout.
Yeah. Why? I just absolutely loved, and I thought it was really cool that you guys put this on the broadcast, the sort of moment of elation, the video of the guys behind the scenes with Japan finding out that they were moving forward.
Yeah, I think it's because as NA fans, we can get, and even Western fans as a whole, we can get pretty jaded because I feel like we've kind of been in our bucket of where we stack rank, regionally.
Yeah.
There's China, Korea, and then probably EU, and then like LMS, NA, and then like the emerging regions, right? And like for those emerging regions to be moving up that stack ranking a little bit, for like Japan to qualify into their first one, like that would be huge. Just like it'd be huge for NA to like go to their first world finals or even their first semifinals, So like that's basically what it was to them. And like I think it's cool to show what it means to those regions, because people call in here all the time and like are geeking out. The OPL guy was super excited. He thought this was their chance. It should have been their chance. Surefire comes back in and chokes. Oh god, it was rough. But there's that passion still.
Yeah.
Like showing it.
Continue.
That was it. I was saying like there's still that passion all over the world, and sometimes as NA fans we can get jaded, but it's cool to see it elsewhere.
Okay, so moving into the calls, what should we be talking about tonight?
This is a weird one because I think we'll talk a lot about the actual breakdown of the playing group stage and the knockout stage to come when Sjokz gets here, I assume.
Yeah.
So until that time, we'll probably talk a little bit about production and then maybe some of the EU drama that's been hitting the front page of the subreddit pretty hard about who's getting into EU LCS and not.
Yeah, because I think the expectation is that Sjokz is not going to be able to discuss that. She's in the EU office. Like, if the rumors are true about Deficio, we don't want to put her on a spot if she's like heard something. And it's just really weird. So, I think ironically we will be discussing the EU stuff a little bit before she gets here. And there are rumors. You can check them out on Reddit, ESPN, elsewhere. They're out there about stuff that's happening. So I think we can talk about that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. We did Hotline League, but we didn't talk about certain things that happened. It has been like a week and a half since we've had some calls in. So perhaps we can also talk about Rise, which came out. We'd love to have maybe a call in about that. Let's see, what else? There's just a bunch of different stuff. All the kind of pre-world stuff that came out. So maybe we can make all that work. Mark, do you want to explain how the caller system works?
Yeah, so if this is your first time tuning in, where the fuck have you been? But it's okay, you're here now. And the way this works is you want to join up on the Discord that I am spamming. In Twitch chat, when you get there, there is a pleb topics or pleb calls and pleb calls 2 that you can join. Those are voice channels. Once you're in there, you can basically mute yourself so you don't hear other people mouth breathing. And then in the pleb topics text channel, you're going to want to go ahead and post whatever it is that you want to talk about. Hopefully you keep these more as a take of some kind. So you think Japan is like super overachieved and they're actually not that good. You think G2 got super lucky and they suck. Whatever it is, put your topics in there. If we like it, we will pull you into the waiting room where when it is your turn to come on air, we will do a quick voice check, make sure all your audio is working, and then pull you on to discuss whatever it is you want to talk about.
Yeah. So that is how that works. If you are a sub, by the way, and some people get confused by this, you do have to sync your Twitch account with your Discord account so that Discord knows you're a sub. But after a little bit of a delay, you can access the subtopics chat. You can put your questions into subtopics. It moves a little slower, so it gives you a little bit of an edge, but it doesn't guarantee you anything or whatever. So feel free, if you're a sub, to use that chat as well. So as Mark is looking for our first callers, I want to give a shout out to T-Downs, Kervokian MD, Crans1212, who says keep up the good work, Travis and Mark, Fire Emblem 90, The Real Rando 1, and then Bottle Gnomes, who just donated $20 or $25, says, Travis, do you think any of the wild cards you're performing above expectations represent a trend from the region, or is it a one-time or one-team worlds buff? I mean, I think you can only ever look at a team's performance as representative of that single team. If you start to see like a trend, if you see multiple teams, then you might know. But there are a lot of regions where you have maybe 1 or 2 good teams and then not so many other good teams. There's a lot of regions where you have just a ton of average teams. So it just kind of depends on the region, would be what I would say. People are asking questions in chat. You got to put those in the Discord. Once again, discord.gg/Travis is how that works.
Yeah, we don't read Twitch chat.
Yeah.
Twitch chat's a cesspool, unlike our Discord.
Well, our Discord's not that great either.
No, dude.
Esports.
Our Discord is the pinnacle of communication and intellect.
Yeah. And for those who missed the announcement, I will be headed to Worlds. That is happening on Sunday. I'm headed over there on Sunday with Broden. So we'll have coverage of groups and quarters. Thank you to U.GG, who's not sponsored this show, but is sponsoring my coverage of Worlds. And
I'm going to get the first caller. Is that okay?
Yes, go for it, yeah. Discord is a slightly less awful version of Twitch chat. I'm not sure if I agree with that, Alir. If you're watching the VOD, by the way, I do have a link to the Twitch channel in the description. You can go drop a follow on this Twitch channel so you don't miss it whenever it airs live, which is usually 8 p.m. Pacific. Mondays, it is going to get kind of wonky with Worlds happening because I'll be in Korea and we have to figure out what that looks like, but we're going to try and do Worlds while I'm in Korea. Regulix is our first caller. Regulix, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Orlando, Florida.
Okay, thank you. We get a lot of Orlando, Floridians. You've called in before, correct?
No, I've tried to, but...
Really?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because I feel like I recognize your name, and I recognize your, like, banjo picture from... I'm not sure I believe you. Regulix,
no, it's fine.
Where are you... What do you want to talk about on the show tonight?
Well, obviously with the rumors we've heard about, the EULCS and the refusal to allow certain teams in, I actually think it's a good thing. Okay. Because especially from how Riot's perspective of how they want to grow esports as a whole, they want to increase their viewership. Well, you can't just let every team in, especially those who have like cult following, not trying to point anyone out, but like Unicorns of Love. What is their potential growth that could then benefit Riot, not just on top of team?
Okay, so yeah, you're not a believer in some of these existing franchises.
I just don't think they have the ability to have as much of a growth pattern in terms of like bringing in, merch prices that then Riot gets to sell. They don't get a lot of the increase in base, for player base.
Yeah, I wonder if it will be revealed. Like, I wonder which teams were able to secure, because we talked about this in the NA franchising time, and it seemed to play out this way, where it feels like Riot really favored the teams and organizations that were able to marry, like, a large corporation with existing esports experience. So CLG with Madison Square Garden is a pretty good example of that. 100T, which brought Nadeshot, who had esports experience, in with, like, the Cav stuff. You saw this in just a couple different situations, and so I am very curious what was done behind the scenes. Assuming the rumors are true, on the Unicorns of Love side, to find like a strategic partner to go in with, because that would have been, I think, the way to make this succeed.
Yeah, I agree. I also think it's good from the perspective of the player base, because a lot of the teams that did get fused, weren't necessarily looking the hottest. They weren't doing bad, but they could have done better. So I think that also the roster change-ups that can happen will be beneficial as well. Yeah.
So, Mark, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you guys remember, like, Ocelot having an interview maybe about a year ago when all the NA franchising stuff was going around, and he was talking about how many, like, parasites there are in the EU scene or whatever?
He said that, I think, again, in my interview with him during MSI.
Maybe it was even more recent than I remember. Yeah. I thought it was about a year ago. But
I mean, he might have... I'm sure it's a phrase that he had used more than once. That sounds like an Ocelotism. But, yeah, I think he... I mean, you could look at G2... and you could compare it to some of the other EU franchises, and you just see a pretty big delta in what they're both doing. Now, the big question is, well, is G2 just burning cash? Or are they acting sustainably? I mean, I think there's probably a lot of arguments that some of the other organizations would make about what G2 was doing in the space, but it did feel like they were able to build a brand, whether it was based off of vacation trips or otherwise, that made them really well-known internationally. As an NA guy, there are some names that are leaving the EULCS. I never really was not aware of. I mean, I was aware of them, but like I just didn't really know what they were, or whatever. And that might be even more of a testament than back whenever it was NALCS. And I obviously knew who some of the teams were, or all the teams were, but they didn't know like what their brand was or whatever. It was just weird.
Yeah. Well, on top of that, like they actually won. Unlike all these other brands that are getting kicked out, you're not kicking out any like historical great teams. I mean,
Yeah.
Rocket and Unicorns of Love have both had their moments where they're like 4th or 5th place teams, but no one's even like Immortals level, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're not really losing any like super good talent from like a org perspective necessarily.
Yeah.
They're all middling orgs at best in terms of like gameplay, which I think is what we always say is like the most important thing for establishing a brand, which is why part of the reason I think G2 exploded was that they did a really good job putting their teams together.
Regalix, there's a guy in chat. Oh, Sjokz says morning, getting ready, and coming over. Okay. Sir Malefact in chat says it's a big fuck you to the teams that have shown they care a lot about their fans, particularly the Unicorns. Their entire thing was player engagement. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
I mean, that's kind of fair, but at the same time, are you really a fan of an organization, or are you a fan of the players that make the organization? It comes to...
Sorry, you finished.
No, I was just going to say, it comes down to, do you care more about, an emblem and a company face, or do you care more about the players that get to play together?
I think Unicorns of Love is probably one of the few orgs that had actual org fans, just because of their fucking name and like how they kind of came into the scene and how they've always been not quite a for fun team, but they've always had more lightheartedness around them, and Sheepy and his dad were the owners or whatever. So like I think Unicorns of Love, and I saw this as a popular sentiment on Reddit and the threads as well, was one of the few teams that they did feel kind of like was a loss, just because they do have a pretty awesome history, I think.
But I mean, like, okay, so Unicorns of Love, for instance, like some people are saying it, they do have a cult following, but then you have teams like Splice and Gaming where you kind of go, yeah, but what is Giants Gaming? What is it actually? Does anyone know?
Travis, you know?
I don't know. Sorry, I was responding to Sjokz. But the problem is that you can say this about a lot of the NALCS teams. Actually, the very funny thing, people consistently get, I think, look, I'm just repeating what I've seen on Reddit. I don't want this to reflect on me, but like people are frustrated that FlyQuest made it in over Immortals. And I think what's weird is I'm curious to see if there's any moments like that where as a plane flies over my house, certain organizations make it in where others don't. But yeah, some of these I think just are a little obvious to me. The H2K thing I think is very obvious. Like H2K had blatant hostility towards Riot time and time again. Whether justified or not, that is not always the best political move whenever Riot's like the sole decider on the future of your life. And I think ultimately didn't have a great year. Like there's a pretty good video that Thorin did where he breaks down the letter that they wrote or whatever, and it's hard to, I don't know. It's hard to
believe
feel
that a real business dev person wrote that.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yes.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That was a rough letter.
Yeah.
Couldn't you also then say that any team that's the worst and then gets knocked out of the EOSS, wouldn't that be basically a permanent relegation in a way?
I mean, those teams at least feel like it was competitively driven versus you could argue pretty well for Unicorns of Love that over the course of their tenure in the EULCS they've never been a terrible team or whatever. So I don't think it's quite the same. But they are trying to be more focused on their future than the past, and a thing worth remembering. I know this was true in NA, and I haven't followed the EU one close enough to know if it's exactly the same, but you get paid out for your time in the EULCS based off the buy-ins that the new people are coming in with. So Unicorns of Love should get a quote-unquote nice payout, whatever that ends up being. I assume several millions of dollars.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
I mean, before it was
lessens
several
the
millions.
blow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Unicorns of Love have been around a lot longer than Immortals had been. Unicorns of Love are since season 4?
Yeah. Yeah, they've been around for quite some time. So, I mean, I think it's just what I would just characterize it as disappointing. I don't think anybody wants an organization like Unicorns of Love who is very not grassroots, but has been a part of the scene for a while to go away. But the reality is that this is a situation where they're assessing the future of these organizations and companies financially, business-wise, etc. and I mean, I don't know. Like I think hopefully Unicorns of Love attempted to find like a big corporate partner to tie up with, and maybe that just didn't come to fruition in time. I don't know, but I don't know. Either way, I do want to thank you for your call, Regulix.
One final point too is that it feels extra bad right now because for the most part these are all leaks, and you don't actually see which new orgs and teams are coming in to replace them exactly. Like you hear sources, Real Madrid and Sentinels of like all these fucking random other football teams, but it's still hard to get excited until you start seeing rosters and actual stuff like that.
Yeah. All right. Thank you again, Regulix, for your call.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah. Okay. Let's grab another person. Shout out to Purple Ray Q for 6 months. That's awesome. Frizz Grizzly, 100 bits. Frost Slasher for 5 months. Love you guys. Blah, blah, blah. Tell Mark if he knows why this year trailer was a recap of 2017 year. We talked about that, I think, the other day. Coolest33 with 1,000 bits. Don't hate the Twitch chat. It's like a bridge. It's where all trolls live. Haha. Hammock subbed. NA Alistar. Ranner TV for 8 months. And Thorn719 for 10. Some people that have been around for a while. I don't know why. It's not quality content you get here. Mark is getting our next caller. And if you are tuning in, Sjokz is joining us in just a little bit. She's headed over. So in maybe 20 or so minutes, hopefully she'll be here. To keep an eye on my phone because she could drop by at any moment. Thank you again for everybody who is supporting the stream. I'm probably going to do a bounty. There's a Twitch bounty that's up on Magic the Gathering Arena. If you guys stick around, that's helpful for me. I'll do it afterwards, unless Sjokz wants to like go get dinner or something. I don't know what she wants to do. And there's Mark with Killing You Guy. Killing You Guy, welcome to the show. Have you been on before?
I have been on the show, Travis. I think twice.
All right. Well, thank you for being
a sub.
Yeah, thank you for being a Twitch sub. It's appreciated.
Yeah, man.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Newington, Connecticut.
Newington, Connecticut. And what do you want to talk about on the show tonight?
So I wanted to talk about the Rise video, and I want to preface this hot take by saying that I think the video actually was pretty hype. I mean, I like the song. I like the cool battle with Faker at the end. There were a lot of like cool little, Easter eggs and things with different champions and abilities and, weapons all throughout the video. But I will say that the video had like massive plot holes in it in terms of the storyline for Worlds of 2017.
Okay.
So first of all, Samsung Galaxy never played Fnatic in the whole tournament. So there's that first battle where you have Ambition squaring off as Kha'Zix essentially against Perks' Yasuo. So that never happens because they never fought each other.
That was G2. That was the group stage.
They played each other in groups?
Yeah, the group was G2, RNG, Samsung Galaxy, and one other, but I can't quite remember.
Oh, my bad.
Okay, pothole one solved.
So that one's fine. But for RNG, they actually lost to RNG twice in groups. They didn't play them through because I was thinking that they were doing like they were trying to figure like quarterfinal, semifinal, final, but they did actually lose to RNG twice.
Yeah, so that's why, to my understanding, that's why they escape anyway, or Ambition escapes, is because he gets shot twice, and so the two shots like from Uzi are supposed to represent the two losses. And then I think somehow he used Sejuani in a game to get out of group or out of that stage, and that's how he escapes. And that's why like Uzi doesn't die in it, or he doesn't actually defeat Uzi. He just like dodges him.
Oh, okay. So it's and then maybe that's why he comes back at the end or something like that.
Yeah. Well, also I think he comes back at the end because people are like, "Oh shit, it's Uzi, the final boss."
Well, and he's in this world, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like the final boss for this year.
Right.
But I just think maybe it might have been, and maybe it's purely because of name value. Because I mean, Perks is incredibly popular, Uzi is incredibly popular. But I mean, in terms of like, if they did want to stage it like quarterfinal, semifinal, finals, I mean, you got Prey and Gorilla from Longshu that they could have pulled from, as far as an ADC, as opposed to Uzi, because they actually did, win against them in that case. And then again for WE, maybe 957 or Xie. I mean, I guess a lot of Western audiences don't follow, China as much, but
yeah, I mean, it seemed like they picked mostly iconic players.
Yeah, and I can understand that for recognition and hype of the video and all that, but I don't know. I think that they, and then the other, I mean, obviously too, just the fact that if you have Faker in the video and he was in that is the storyline of Worlds last year, but I just feel like maybe Riot could have done a better job of maybe incorporating some of the people that made it into Worlds this year and maybe altered the story a little bit. I think the video was super hyped though.
Yeah.
I think the music was great, but I just think there were a lot of opportunities to maybe incorporate a lot of players this year.
I think part of the problem is that when did we find out? How recently did we find out who is all going to be at Worlds this year?
Yeah, you don't have like an animation project like that takes probably 6 months if things are moving pretty well.
So that's why I think like they were probably able to make some pretty educated guesses, like, oh, there's Uzi. Like I quite frankly, like I wouldn't be. Well, I don't know if they ever thought anybody thought Faker was going to be there this year, but like I'm guessing that they took a lot of educated guesses on some of this stuff, but it's hard for them, I think, to. If the argument. Go ahead, Mark.
I was gonna say it was also the kind of thing where I'm pretty sure some scenes like were changing throughout the production of it. Like the reason that Perks and Ambition are fighting in a lightning storm is supposedly because that scene started with Reckless or something as Kennen, and then like they pivoted the story, or it was supposed to be a reference to the fact that Kennen was fighting, like Fnatic was fighting elsewhere or something. I forget, but like these are the kinds of things where like you have an initial vision, you start working on it, you storyboard it, you timeline it, you get your initial like work sent back from the production studio. You're trying to coordinate this with a song that's probably in development. Like, I think it actually came out surprisingly well given how many moving parts there probably were.
Yeah, and I guess that makes sense because if it was 6 months ago, then that was probably around the time that Reckless benched himself as well, which maybe might have explained the pivot.
Yeah, that would have been awkward.
Yeah.
I could also see, I could see the argument of it's weird to release a hype video for this year's Worlds that is all about last year's Worlds. I could see that argument. I actually think maybe it doesn't matter because it's like just too cool. So ultimately, like, in my opinion, there's a lot in creative things. Oftentimes you're like, well, this doesn't really make sense. And it's like, who the fuck cares? It's cool. And like, let's just do it. And I think that's where a lot of the stuff in this video is like, it doesn't matter. I still got so hyped and I loved the video. It got me really excited for this year's Worlds to like represent the story, even though I do kind of see like it is weird to like, maybe that's the video that you should have released a couple months later.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the video you should have released a couple months later. Yeah.
Who knows? And the other thing too that I know a lot of people complain about was like a lot of those matchups didn't specifically happen. Like I don't think he played Kha'Zix against Perks in any of the games. Is like Yasuo, So they kind of just picked iconic champions, but like for me that feels pretty nitpicky because there's so many other things going on in it.
Trying to promote the Kha'Zix world skin, I guess, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, potentially. Either way, thank you so much for your call, Killing You Guy. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks you guys.
Yeah, have a good one. Guys, Twitch chat, as always, please be nice. No name calling of the callers. Like, it's fine if you the hang up emote is fun, but like if you're calling people idiots, that's just kind of rude. It just makes me sad when I see that. All right, Mark, off to the next caller. Oh, off he goes. He's on a mission. Thank you to Thorn. Oh, I already said Thorn. Snake, Kai, I don't know. Yoda Sweat and I Party with Gatsby for the Twitch Prime subs. Thank you. We are on our way to a record Twitch Prime sub allotment because I've been streaming so much lately. So that's kind of cool. Hey, Trey35 in chat. I see you.
Hello.
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 X-Relics, welcome to the show. Where are you calling from?
I'm from California native, currently living in Germany.
Sorry, one more time?
California native, living in Germany.
Okay, California native, living in Germany. Very good. What time is it there?
It's about 5:45 a.m.
5:45. Well, thank you for being up so early. Why are you up so early?
Well, 11 hours ago, Thorn released a video on, and I apologize for going off the world's topic, going back to NALCS.
Sure.
This is about Golden Guardians.
So wait, I asked you why are you up so early, and your answer is because Thorn released a video 11 hours ago. That makes sense because Thorn's videos are usually about 12 hours long. So I can understand why you're still awake. You're still watching the video he released.
It's almost over, I swear.
Okay.
But I think he made his main points by now.
Okay.
So essentially, and I agree with this, so I will speak of the same mind as Thorin on this. It's a huge disappointment that Golden Guardians, with very substantial backing, went with an all-NA team without really getting much NA talent.
Yeah.
Good on them for getting contracts, and I think definitely it was also a good pickup. But the rest of that team is not going to speak to the strength of local NA talent.
Yeah. Full disclosure, I'm good friends with Hunter and Spellsy, who run Golden Guardians. I try to make that call out anytime I discuss this. But so first off, I would agree. It is disappointing. I think the biggest problem I have with Golden Guardians is that they message this as like we're getting an all NA team rather than what they also said at the time, but they said it a little quieter. It's like we're making a development team. And so I think meaning like we want to pick up players who we think have been underserved in other organizations and see if we can improve them and make them better. And in some cases, that's like a Deathly even who came from the challenger scene, right? So rather than like they tried to approach like everything the opposite of Steve, right? Just go spend as much money to get the biggest names and the biggest players and see what they can do. And so I think I also think it's tough because them coming from the Golden State Warriors side, there are so many expectations that they failed to meet, undoubtedly failed to meet. Just in terms of like you associate that organization with like winning and victory, and to kind of come in and make, quite frankly, the worst roster. And I think sort of discuss like they didn't really do a good job of explaining how they were planning on developing these players. Obviously, like Loco Doco left the organization pretty early, which is a pretty big sign that like things are, like. You talk about how it's all going to be about the infrastructure, how you're going to develop the stuff, and then sort of the key that you have to do that doesn't end up working out. So I don't know. I think I 100% agree. There's no way to describe Golden Guardians as anything other than
yeah.
Sorry, Sjokz just messaged me. Other than disappointing, but I think a lot of that is just in the way they message this. So
I think I think I can understand why fans wouldn't be excited about that roster, even if you're like, yeah, we're looking to develop young talent. Like, well, you still did a fucking worse job than C9. like if your approach is developing young talent, how about you don't trade away your draft picks at Scouting Grounds draft? How about you actually attend the event and put resources into scouting it properly, which they didn't do. Unlike C9, who traded up in the draft and were like one of the teams who sent their coaching staff there to help develop or like try and get a good feel for the players. I think if you want to try and sign and find developing new talent, you don't sign guys who have been in the scene for 3 years. I think a lot of those guys are actually competent players too. I just don't think you build a team out of them altogether. I think they're like role players on other teams probably.
Yeah.
So right. I don't even think they like took their own approach close to correctly at all. And then like Travis said, letting go of Loco. From what I have heard, what happened in that situation was honestly pretty minor, and I could be wrong here, and I don't really want to get too far into it, but like he is someone who, despite all his problems that people have with him sometimes and his personality, most players will sing his praises about how much they've learned from them. You heard Dardoch say, like, despite how much they butt heads, he was typing in his Twitch chat about how Loco was the person who ended up teaching him the most. And so like, yeah, I think even if you did have like a let's develop these guys approach, you got rid of the only guy who was going to do that. And like it's pretty fucking it's a lot of hubris to think that like we're going to come in and develop players that no one else could because we understand the scene or something like
that. Conversely, I think, or not conversely, but additionally, on the coaching front, they put their faith in their assistant coach, who Loco hired, instead of picking, like FlyQuest picked up St. Vicious. You could have done that. You could have picked up St. Vicious, who had a proven track record of developing talent, or Cop. And both Optic and FlyQuest both had much better summer splits after picking up these players. It's interesting to think like what could have been done there. I know Inero joined up eventually, but it was kind of late in the time frame. I think they should have picked up Saint and Cop. Like if you were going to you cannot say we are the development org and then not have, and then also be developing coaches. Like you either need to spend on coaches who have coaches and infrastructure who have the experience, or you need to spend on players who have a proven track record. But to both have players that don't have a proven track record and coaches that don't have a proven track record, you're setting yourself up for failure in that situation.
It's even like the coaching one, not so much, but it's not just like a not proven track record, like they're unknown quantities. It's like we've seen these guys losing or like not succeeding for a while.
Yeah.
Other than contracts, and arguably definitely. And what do you know? Those are the two guys who worked out the most for them, I would argue.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I think they did not approach the scouting grounds or the challenger scene with any attempt to develop talent. So I don't even buy into that argument at all.
Yeah.
Right, and I would say
their academy squad was a joke.
The only veteran core that they had was Loco Doco and High originally. So, and they were both gone within 6 months. So I think that's a huge bummer. And let's not forget, this was the first team that was featured at Oracle Arena from NA. How cool would it have been if they actually did everything correctly and they would have made some triumphant return and been the home team in that situation? I think that would have been awesome.
Yeah, agree.
Yep.
The good news, by the way, is that they are hiring a general manager. I see a lot of people on Twitch chat who think they could make a lot of good decisions. You should go apply. Everyone go apply for the general manager position right now and spam their email. Actually, that would be hilarious.
Instead of all of you applying, you got someone in Twitch chat start a Google Doc and everyone write in their skill sets and like build a fictitious character of an amalgamation of all your skill sets and just say that you have to work remotely. And then maybe they hire you, and then all of Twitch chat can continue to kind of like, as a group, make decisions and vote on things.
Twitch chat plays LCS. That's what I want to say.
Twitch chat plays GM for Golden Guardians.
I thought you were going to say they should apply as Twitch chat. Like, we, the collective, would like this GM job.
Oh, yeah. Maybe you don't even need to pretend you're not Twitch chat.
Yeah. Just gift everyone subs to Travis Gafford's Twitch channel, and they will. That's their salary. X-Relics, thank you for the call.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, have a good one.
Is this the sponsor plug?
Yeah, let's go for it. All right, everyone. Hang on, let me see if maybe I can do this. I want to talk to you about our sponsor, not Title T. Our sponsor, who this show is sponsored right now, just so you know. The sponsor is a mystery. And I want to thank this sponsor so much because the support they are showing, Mark and I, for this show is incredible. And I'd love for you guys to get behind our sponsor right now. So feel free, if you're excited about their sponsorship of the show, to put a bunch of question marks in the chat, because that's really the only way I have to reference them. Let me tell you about the sponsor specifically, because I know you guys have a lot of questions. You want to know about them. So they are a company that exists. They are out there. They do things. They sponsor things with marketing dollars, and they make products. And
wait, Travis, you just got everyone banned. If you spam question mark, your Nightbot times them out.
Well, I mean like spam one question mark. Like collectively they need to spam one question mark at a time.
It's so funny. It's only 5-second timeouts.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah. I'm not worried. Anyway, so they make a product, maybe multiple products. I can't really disclose that. And they are either in the digital or physical space. But man, I cannot wait until you guys find out who this sponsor is, and you will find out about them in the future. And so that's when we'll be able to talk to you guys about the sponsor. But again, thank you so much to the sponsor for their support of our show. They do incredible things and they have incredible products or product, and there's incredible people or people. So thanks to this sponsor for your support of our show. Can't wait to talk to you guys more about them in the future. Well, let's move on to the next caller.
But so I'm looking. This sponsor turned me into.
Discord is dying, or I'm dying. Hello, Mark. Can you hear me? What is happening to my stream? Hello?
Hello. I am currently on Skype.
Okay.
Because I have been replaced by a robot.
Yeah.
Built by our gentleman sponsor.
Well, yeah. I don't know what happened there. I thought it was for a second that my internet was going out, but it looks like it was just Discord sucking.
Discord server went boom.
Yeah. Okay, it looks like it's green again.
Did you hear me on Skype?
Yeah, I did hear you on Skype. So now we're good.
Can we call them our gentleman sponsor?
Well, I don't want to gender that would
our gentle person sponsor. They love what we do and would like to anonymously support us in our endeavors.
Yes. For now, but they will be revealed in the future. So again, thank you so much to our sponsor. Let's move on to the next caller.
Alrighty.
As we move on, I believe our guest should be arriving shortly.
How long is shortly if you had to estimate?
You would know where she is staying, presumably.
Yes.
She said she left 10 minutes ago. And
Okay,
you know
so
where I live.
So pretty shortly.
Okay, cool. I don't know where she's staying, so thank you, by the way, to some folks. That Boy Dents, Wonderful, Wallow25, Greaser, It's Ya Boy Deej, Odd Polygon, and John Muljohn for the Twitch Prime subs and regular subs. Again, by subbing this channel, you get satisfaction. I've got no explanation for it other than that, but I miss this. Whenever we started Hotline League, it was just me and Mark. We didn't really do the guest thing every week, and so it's just a different. I forgot what it was like to just have to fill time while he's going and doing this. I usually fill time with a ton of Twitch Prime subs and Twitch subs, but I guess I don't. There's only a couple of those tonight, so I don't need to do that. So now we just now we're just hanging out here. Hey, it's Maze. Maze, welcome to the show.
Chris, how's it going?
Very good. Where are you calling from?
Staten Island, New York.
What? Stan Island?
Staten
Island.
Okay.
It's the forgotten borough.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know about boroughs. Anyway, what do you want to talk about on the show tonight?
Talk about the meta going into Worlds. I feel like the last couple of patches, like 8.15, 8.16, were like kind of figured out or like played so thoroughly. We're kind of not on like any different patch in terms of like what the changes were. Like I know there were changes to Darius and Fiora recently. Invalidate tanks in like the top lane, but I feel like there's no different, there's no varying trend, and that the meta is pretty at this point essentially.
So Mark,
your thoughts on that?
Mark, really quickly, I just want to ask you about this. There are a lot of, well, at the beginning at least, there are a lot of seemingly low kill games in play-ins, I feel like. Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm only seeing some of them because eventually I fall asleep. But like, there were many times where I'm looking and I'm like, wow, it is 10 minutes and like one person has died or nobody has died, or I don't know.
I know what you're talking about. I think the first day, both, like, not the entire day, but the first couple games of the first 2 days were really slow. Like G2 versus Supermassive, even though Supermassive won that game in an upset, it was like 7 kills total, I think. So I know what you're saying. It really did change from there. Like, a lot of the games were very bloody and exciting. I will question both Maze and Twitch chat. I agree with your point that this is one of the most or I should say least changed metas heading into Worlds, the fewest changes, and that's something people had always been asking for. Is they didn't want a Juggernaut patch. They didn't want Ardent Sensor to just get buffed right before Worlds, and now everyone has to play through their bot lanes. And so,
I'm not saying that I want that. I'm saying that like champions like Urgot, like Koreans weren't playing it, or NA wasn't playing it until like Gauntlet. Like nobody played it, nobody picked it during the playoffs, and I feel like, do you think we're gonna see any champions like that come out, like that we're just not seeing? I mean, maybe Darius because he got buffs, like Darius and Fiora, but are there any other champions that we might see that didn't get any changes?
Yeah, we've already seen a couple, especially in the top lane. Like Licorice started playing Lissandra as a counter to Urgot, and it actually did really well. He did it twice, and then G-Rex, I think it was, pulled it out as well, and they said they did it specifically because they saw Licorice do it. So I think you will see, it won't be as exciting because I think the priorities are largely figured out more so, but like I think you will see one or two new picks show up. But I was going to ask Twitch chat, like, do you prefer this, where you kind of know all the majority of the priority and power picks coming out for the start of the tournament, or and it's much more competitively fair, so to say, because this is the champions people kind of qualified on, or did you prefer the kind of crazy ass shit that happened with a big patch, but it was not really fair to some of the teams because now they had to kind of relearn the game? I don't know what people preferred.
I mean, even when Zyra was a pick, and then Misfortune was just pulled out, and like, was it quarters or semis? Yeah. So like that was crazy, and I really like that. So I hope that the tournament, like, we could see stuff like that, and it's not just all kind of front loaded like at the beginning. They get into a groove where they're just. Yeah,
I mean, part of it right now is that we're just like not in a super hyphy moment of Worlds, like it's playing stage. If Licorice busted out that Lissandra pick versus, somebody in group stage and like upset RNG with it or something, I think people would be really excited. So we'll have to see, but it sounds like in Twitch chat there's a lot of like, they prefer this is better, slightly a mix, or
I just
one or the
buzzed
other.
Sjokz into the apartment, but I don't know where. She didn't show up at all. I'm worried.
Like, you buzzed her into the complex.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're like, you still
Just keep stalling.
I'm doing a great job. Travis, what do you prefer?
I prefer the air.
Travis walked away. I was watching stream, which is about 15 seconds behind. My bad. I think adaptations will always come through. Like, even when we saw the Leona come out last year, out of Misfits and stuff like that, like, I think the teams that are underdogs will continue trying to innovate, and hopefully like that causes some upsets, and then the teams that are kind of playing the meta more will be able to pick up what they think actually works the best out of them.
What do you think? Like, do you have any like just picks that you think might be used, or you don't like? Do you have any insider information?
Insider, I probably
Give us a Zimmer.
I'm not. What? Where'd you come from? I don't have anything that I would say I want to speak on, but there are some top lane counters people have discussed but haven't played yet. I thought what we saw out of G2 was really cool, where they flexed the Akali to the top lane to deal with like some of the counter picks that come in mid for the Akali. I thought that was really smart because she feels like something that can get kind of dealt with through Galio, Zillion, and a couple other of the more control-y supportive mages.
I like that Kindred's being picked more. I mean, I know she was pretty popular, but especially into Urgot, when you could just like completely deny the execute. And,
yeah,
like,
it took Blabber a couple times to figure out exactly how that interaction worked. Travis, you've watched a lot of playing stage. What are some of your favorite picks of the meta?
Sjokz got lost and had to re-exit the complex and buzz me again.
How is that? Why didn't you just go down and get her?
Well, I didn't anticipate this situation, but I hear the elevator running, so I think we should be good now.
Okay.
I think we should ask Twitch chat who their favorite picks were. Twitch chat, do you have thoughts?
It's going to take them about 15 seconds to start typing things. Volley Bear, Ivern, Vel'Koz ADC was something we saw, and that was, I thought, pretty cool. But they also, the other team that was doing it super telegraphed it, and they picked Soraka and Vayne. And so the Vel'Koz could have flexed mid, but once you see that shit, you're like, all right, free lane. Kallista's kind of poopy. Trundle we saw. Tryndamere would be interesting as just like a super split pusher. Ziggs, we saw some Ziggs. Went pretty well.
You can just join this nice.
Oh, thank God. I was running out of shit to
Mark
talk
was
about.
stalling.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Like
Yeah, good morning. How long have you been awake?
20 minutes.
Okay, good. Well, good morning. Good to have you here. Everyone, this is Sjokz. She is an up-and-coming broadcaster in the esports space.
Yeah.
And specifically in League of Legends.
Hi. This is like a throwback.
Yeah, I'm going to get you some cereal.
What do you have?
Shredded wheat stuff. It's good.
That's so boring and Travis Gafford.
Don't you have like these in America advertised like colorful Cheeto breakfast cereal? No.
I don't have Cheeto breakfast cereal, I'm sorry. But you sound like an EU person in Twitch chat right now. Okay, so Mark, why don't you, because we do have a caller right now, I believe, right? Did we say goodbye to Maze?
Right
okay, Maze is still here. They're talking about the Worlds meta, and Maze is somewhat disappointed that it's not. Am I correct in this? Disappointed that the meta has
I'm
not
not
been
disappointed at all, dude.
He's not disappointed.
I liked it.
He was just pointing out that this is one of the most solved metas we've had going into Worlds.
Oh,
Sjokz,
so
do you prefer when we have like
Just don't
big...
touch
Sjokz, do you prefer when we have big patch changes heading into Worlds?
No.
Where it kind of fucks the meta, or do you prefer this?
No, I prefer this. I also think for all the trouble that we had, like kind of in the year and in the season, that I'm really happy with where the game is at right now and the way the game's at least in play-ins and in all the playoffs and all the gauntlets have played out with a heavy team fight focus, and not like the team fight focus where you win 2 and you still can't break anything. Some people argue that it's a bit too much on the, well, if you get one and you get Baron, you're done. But then that's also the point of Baron, right, at the end of the game. So, yeah. And, well, I also think it's cool that some people still pull out mages in the bot lane and, like, Heimer still gets banned and stuff. So, yeah, I'm a happy camper.
Yeah,
Am I quiet?
No, you are plenty fine.
Okay.
Some people are actually saying move away, but ignore them.
I'm like,
Twitch chat can handle their own volume control. Actually, everyone's saying. But now people are saying louder.
Mark fading. Are they just always trolling?
I think you're a little closer to the microphone than Travis.
Oh, sorry,
is the only
guys.
thing. Yeah. As I'm looking at the.
Oh, is it
screen now.
ASMR Sjokz?
Careful, you will piss off Twitch chat. Travis sometimes trolls them with the ASMR.
Yay, thank you.
I mean, that being said, there's a difference between you and Travis that I can't quite put my finger, but something's different between you two. And why Twitch chat would maybe.
Mark's pretty quiet to us. Or is that normal?
I hate to turn him down because I don't
Because
use
it echoes?
headphones. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
okay. No worries.
Can you talk again, Mark?
Hello!
Okay. Okay. Well, now it's going to be serial ASMR. Okay. So, did we wrap up this conversation?
Pretty much. Sjokz agreed that she prefers this approach to Worlds where it's largely similar to how teams qualified.
I'm worried because I think North America might suck if there's not a... We do best in unsolved metas.
Do we? I actually don't even think we're very innovative.
Isn't the first week of groups we do really well there because everyone's like stumbling to figure out what's going on, and then once they actually figure it out, we just suck?
Partially, I don't know. I think we also just choke our faces off because we're like...
Maybe I'd be more worried if, like, it's like because the early game is doing really well, right? And it's all about snowballing mid-jungle. So often when I tune into NALCS, it takes a while for things to happen. But I haven't seen every game, of course.
Either way, thank you, Maze, for the call. I'm sorry that I was AFK for some of it.
It's okay. Thanks for having me on, Travis.
Yeah, have a good one.
Hi, Maze. This is fun.
Yeah, it is. You'll enjoy it a lot. Everybody who comes on the show is like, oh, what is this? I have to do this work thing and whatever. And then they come on and then they talk to strangers and it's quite fun.
I don't think it's
Imagine if Mark wasn't here. It would actually be really fun.
What?
Yeah, well, if you want, I can leave.
Mark, can you go grab the next caller?
I think I've done enough to get paid for this episode, right, Travis?
Mark,
You want me to...
Mark, can you go grab the next caller? All right, off
Has
he
it just
goes.
been you and him?
Yeah, well, yes, because we were waiting for you. Raz was potentially going to come on. This is a leak, but then, like, I guess he couldn't make it.
He went to
so-
dinner.
Yeah. But thank you to Grulik, Endeavor 105, Exhoisoid, I don't know, ACOS, Jack Knight Flame, Kermit Sudoku, and Yonstar, who's also known as Yoni.
Yoni!
Who you and I both know. Do we have... Okay, we don't have the next caller yet, so this is normally when we film.
Well, you can ask me questions.
How is... this is when we film. How's LA been for you?
Well,
LA Nights.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
So,
You said I could ask you questions.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I was just chewing. Luckily, I've been here before, so we've hung out a lot in LA, and I've seen a lot of LA, so it's not like I wanted to do any sightseeing.
Yeah.
But it is really odd trying to sleep during the day and getting up at night. The oddest thing is that at the end of the show, I'm super awake.
Yeah.
Because it's like, because your body reacts to sunlight, I guess, or to light.
Yeah.
And goes like, well, top of the morning to you, and I feel fine, and I could probably stay up for like 4 or 5, 6 hours, but of course you can't. So that's tricky. But on the other hand, I think like, it's a job, and plenty of people have to do the night shift. So I'm not gonna sulk about that. I got used to it within 2 days. The first 2 days was really, really rough, especially from like EU to LA.
Yeah, because you didn't have that much time to catch up. So.
No, we got in. I actually got in at 9 p.m. and rehearsal was at 1 a.m., so 4 hours later. So it was rough, but yeah, it's actually not that hard now.
Nice.
I don't think.
Well, Dr. Manhattan is joining us. Welcome to the show, Dr. Manhattan.
Hello.
Hello, good to be on here once again.
Yeah.
You're a regular?
Yeah, he calls in frequently.
Ooh.
And thank you for being a Twitch sub. Okay, are you from? I'm trying to remember. It's either Florida or DC.
DC.
I remember. Okay, I'm getting.
Wow, I'm surprised.
Yeah. Because I met him in Florida in Miami, but I remember now that he traveled there. I got it wrong one time. Dr. Manhattan, what do you want to talk about in the show tonight?
What I would like to talk about today is one of the more infamous unofficial awards at the World Championship this year, or every year, and that is the Dotty Award. And who my bold prediction for the Dotty Award is for this World Championship.
Okay. Well, who is it?
I will predict that this year's Dotty Award will be none other than Fnatic's mid laner Caps.
Oh! Okay, and you waited till...
Welcome
Triggered.
to the show, Sjokz.
Yeah, did you wait? Were you hoping that Sjokz would be here for this, or were you worried?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so I'm not gonna lie, it is one of my worst nightmares. Like all the hype Fnatic has been getting and Caps has been getting, it's like insanity. And then these like scrim rumors of they're better than 2015 Fnatic is like, can you stop?
Yeah, Reaper. Very strategic.
All I can say to like Caps in particular, like if anything, like Reckless underperformed at MSI, right? And he was like supposed to be, or he was the MVP when he went there. I don't think Caps in itself will ever fail that hard. He's really talented kid. He's one of those mechanical geniuses that comes around not very often. He's the type of guy that has no phone, that like breeds League, that like doesn't even maybe shower sometimes. He just wants to go straight to the solo queue. You know what I mean? He's one of those Froggen types.
Yeah.
Bjergsen types. I want to say Faker types, but I know people will get angry. But like, and he's been really chill every situation he's been put in. I mean, that I'm not saying that Fnatic is going to do extremely well because of that, but I don't think he necessarily is going to fail unless, he gets put on Nami mid or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? But yeah, I can see what you mean with all the hype and stuff.
Well, you're just contributing to the hype now. You were like, it's not going to happen. It's going to be fine. And now I feel like the bigger the...
I mean, you saw MSI, right? That was the whole... I get a little triggered when people go like, when Caps is named in any kind of list where he's high. Yeah. It's not that he's not shown it. He's definitely shown it at MSI. He was a very good mid laner, and he held his own and did really well under the Latinum. And
Deficio called him the best mid at MSI.
I mean, you could say that. I think the thing is, I'm afraid to say things like that because of like community shit and whatnot. But he was really fucking good, and I don't think any. Oops.
Yeah, no,
Hey, number one.
It's fine.
So yeah.
Oh yeah, we're good here. We swear all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah. Maybe rookie.
I was gonna say rookie's really good, and that'll be fun. But outside him, I don't think you'll have that many great mid laners.
No, but Mark, couldn't rookie be a contestant for the Dotty Award?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Last time.
Yeah, I mean, especially after rookie was talking shit and being like, "Man, there's only one person in the tournament I wanted to face, and that was Faker, and he's not even here." But I don't think it'll be anyone from Group D. The whole group doesn't feel like. How do I put this? Like, I don't think there's anyone in there who's expected to do really well and is gonna go up against enough like competent players that they're gonna look terrible. Like, even if Caps underperforms, I don't think it's gonna be like, oh man, I'm getting solo killed by Ryu and Candy. Assuming things go normally, right? Like,
I don't know.
Well, I mean that's kind of the point. It's like the Dotty Award. He was supposed to be really good, but was it Scout saying he only wanted to play Faker?
Scout.
Apologies.
To be honest, Scout has really been really
He's the
good
fucking
so
Dotty
far.
Award already too, though. He fucking choked his face off in 2017, and they lost the game so far. So I don't know.
The Wi-Fi. Yeah, I won't read it out. I don't know. So rookie's a chance for it. Any other ideas?
I need my glass. I can't see.
I think I think most likely it's someone from Group B.
You don't want to read that Twitch chat anyway.
Yeah, I do.
They're vile people.
I never get to. I actually
No,
sometimes
Twitch
watch
chat's
watch
chill.
Read Twitch chat.
Let's see if it's-
Twitch chat's pretty chill for the most part. You get the couple trolls who are out of control.
Rate the cereal. It's actually pretty good. I guess it's healthy.
You sent me a message that said hi.
I don't.
It's got a vanilla taste to it. I know. I'm
That's
not.
alright.
I don't eat Lucky Charms here. Although I would if they wanted to sponsor this show. But okay, so you think Caps, but Mark, do you think there's a chance that it could be Caps?
I could see if Fnatic doesn't get out of groups somehow, and Caps is part of that reason, maybe he gets it. But that's probably the only way.
Is there anyone else from the West right now that has that level of spotlight on them?
No.
I think Double Lift.
Probably.
Yeah, that's the only
Double
one I was
Lift.
going to say, but I didn't want to be the first one to say it.
I feel like TL has kind of flown under the radar because of this crazy Fnatic hype, and maybe that's good for them probably. But I am quite excited for Team Liquid. I was excited for them also at MSI.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying not to get excited for Team Liquid because the rumors are that the only team that's doing well is Fnatic, and certainly I haven't talked to Peter too much, but he hasn't said like, man, we're smashing everyone, which in my past experiences with him, he has a tendency to say that if things are going well. So Mark tweeted you're on if you
yeah,
want to
I wanted to do a swipe up.
Okay, well, there we go.
She is fucking addicted to Instagram.
Oh yeah, Mark has figured this out because you guys are on the desk together all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I knew she posted on Instagram like the pictures daily.
Yeah.
Basically, which is like what a lot of influencers do. I don't read stories. I don't post stories. I am like totally out of the loop on how OP stories are. And she is doing stories like 6 times over the broadcast.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I like to keep people. I think people like it. They send me.
No, I think
often to
stories
like
are
it.
cool. I just never been around someone.
I don't think
who
Mark
uses
does
them
this
as much.
anymore, but did you know that for a while Mark would just scroll down and like every photo that he saw? So
No,
you
I
would
still do that.
you
Yes,
would feel
I've
really-
seen that. I was
you'd
like,
feel-
what?
you'd feel really good because there's like, oh wow, Mark liked
Yeah.
this picture. It didn't get that much engagement. And he's like one of my few friends that liked it. Turns out that he's just like, you're one of everyone.
I actually kind of like that. You you don't pay too much attention to it, and then you just like go all in.
Yeah.
Well, it's really easy because I think I only follow 39 people, and like half of them don't even post that much. You know, like it's High and like a couple of like I think I follow like Lorlo and like random players who like don't post that much. And so when I scroll through, I can go from like like the in case you missed it line or like all caught up line. I can get through that in like 2 minutes.
Dr. Manhattan, you're still here.
Oh yeah.
I am.
What are your Instagram
do you have any rebuttals
habits?
to the Caps, the dismissal of the Caps thing? Because I actually, like, as you said it, I think it's a really good point, right? Like, there's going to be a ton of pressure on this guy, and we'll have to sort of see how things go.
Really, everything that basically people say when people say, "Oh my God, but he's too hyped," but this, that in my opinion just feeds to the whole thing that this guy is hyped, and that's kind of what would make him fail. And honestly, that's kind of just like my reach one. If you like, I would say another person that's actually pretty good for the Dotty Award, it's actually set up quite well, is the Shy, just because usually these Name Awards tend to be people who haven't gone to too many international tournaments, such as like Name, Dotty, Godvi. These are all Dotty Award winners who, like, that was their first Worlds, and then they just completely perform abysmal.
Yeah.
So
Who got last year's?
It was a debate between like Khan and Bjergsen.
I figured it was Khan.
Yeah, but you said the Shy, right?
That's another person I could see, like.
Yeah, because like he is like super hyped. I know also in like our preparation talks, people are like, yeah, we like you think he might be very good, you know, maybe there's also Keen, of course, but like he might be really, really good. So, and we've not really seen him.
Yeah.
But some people do so well with the pressure and just don't give a F. Like Whippo when he killed Khan. Lol.
Khan's been the Dotty player for me for the past 2 international tournaments.
Likewise.
Either way, thank you so much, Dr. Manhattan, for calling in.
Thank you once again, and also, I just want to say that the first time I called when Nick Allen was on the show, I actually predicted that TSM would not make Worlds kind of as a joke, and it came true.
Yeah. Well, you're not supposed to say kind of as a joke. You're supposed to just act like you own it.
You can't be right about Caps. I will hunt you down.
Please don't hunt me down.
Okay. You've made an enemy tonight, Dr. Manhattan. Potentially. Either way, thank you so much for the call.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, have a good one.
Dude, you're so pro at this.
Yeah,
Travis, we used to have people on the way out shout out our sponsor. What do we say for our new general?
Shout out to the sponsor.
But like, we gotta have something cooler than that. Like, shout out to the mystery sponsor.
They don't have to say anything. They can do whatever they want.
They must shout them out.
Solania.
She will never get back on.
Solania reset for 2 months. Speedy Dixter, thank you for the Twitch Prime. I don't know how to feel. Boba Cola gifted a sub to Sham for 7 months. Killing You Guy 100 bits. Boba Cola gifted a sub to Nod.Game8. Real Foxy gifted a sub to Sjokz. Congratulations, Sjokz. I don't know.
Yay.
It's a little shocking to find out that you were not a sub. Boba Cola gifted a sub to Jackalope.
I forgot my Twitch login.
Camel Hut, yeah, okay. Dan Erlame subbed with a Twitch Prime as well. We're coming up on a world record for subs, by the way. And that weird dude 25 just gifted a bunch of them, so I will get to that after this call. Eduardo Salinas. I'm not going to ask if that's your full name and real name, but it seems like it might be. Shout outs to you for using a name like that. Where are you calling from?
Brazil.
Brazil. Oh, great. Glad to talk to you. How are you doing over there?
We're pretty angry right now.
Pretty angry. Okay. So talk to me. What do you want to talk about on the show tonight?
So I want to talk about how C9 was dominant in their group because their group was weaker than the rest. And even games that C9 were supposed to lose, they will be able to come back because they were just better mechanically. But they have to step up their games for the best of 5 and for the group stage if they want to get somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's potentially a fair assessment. Mark, what's your take?
I would definitely agree. I think, especially given the fact that the 1 seeds all got out as the pool 1, I was really hoping G2 would choke it, so we could hopefully see someone knocked out, which lets C9 get out of Group B, but that's probably not going to happen. And their current level looks like they're going to get fucking smashed by just about everyone, and then like maybe be even with Vitality, though we haven't seen them in a little while, so C9 has really got to shape up. I don't think they're at all in threat of losing the best of 5 that they're about to play versus Gambit, but other than that, yikes.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that they were put against Kaboom, that they played horribly this time, and against the Japanese region, which was supposed to be the worst region in LoL, at least for what we were like thinking. And even though they almost lost a game to the Japanese region, and against Kaboom, they trolled a lot, so they will be able to just win and be better mechanically. But they also dropped the ball a couple of times against them also. And in the group stage, you're not gonna have a Kaboom or a Japanese region playing like that. They're not gonna be forgiven, and they're gonna pretty much smash C9 if they don't change it. Because I think C9 has a lot of talent. They're better than Gambit. I think they're gonna be fine against them. But again, they're gonna have a really hard group. Doesn't matter where they were put in, so they have to step up their game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think anyone hoping to see like C9 come in and just look like the C9 that we've seen so often in Worlds, where they're just like suddenly get this buff, I think maybe a little disappointed from plans.
I mean, if anything, the fact that they have that history,
Yeah.
that's the only thing that I'm like, and I want to be careful here because I've gotten so much flack for, when, C9 was struggling against LGL, of course, our post-game would be about how that was the case, and then I would get so much shit of like, you're so biased.
I'm surprised anyone from North America is awake to hear.
You hate NA. Yeah. It wasn't that convincing, right? It definitely wasn't. And
don't worry about getting hate on this show. I mean, we're
No.
the biggest 100 Thieves haters, and apparently we hate Europe. Well, we make fun of Europe a lot. So just embrace it. Everyone gets flamed here.
Yeah. And my honest opinion is that I've very often seen like situations in which Cloud9 was counted out, even in the NALCS, right? And like even this year.
Yeah.
And then like times when they made that insane gauntlet run, like now again they were super good in that gauntlet. So I don't know. I think Reaper and this coaching staff, they have things up their sleeves. Svenskeren can come in and possibly give a lot of leadership to that lineup, so I wouldn't sell them down the line just yet because they would be ending up in group with Vitality, right? Vitality, Afrika. I just woke up.
No, it's RNG, Samsung.
They're in the group of death.
Yeah.
They're in the group
Never
of-
mind. They are in the group of death. So on the plus side, no one's expecting you to get out. So like, I think all they have to do is beat Vitality. Hey.
Well, it would be nice if they would get out.
Of course, it would be very nice.
No one remembers a team that got like third instead of fourth in group stage.
I
It's
mean,
like, well, those guys.
Not to be an EU apologist, but G2 got that group 2 years in a row, and people kept shitting on them all the time. So yeah,
They got 1 year,
1 year.
right?
I think they got Samsung the other year as well.
Wait, were they in the group D with TSM?
No,
No, I think they were at one point in time, right? Was
like the
that
year
was
before.
Because Samsung and RNG have been together for 3 years in a row, and one was Group D with TSM, and then last year's was Group C with G2, and I always forget the fourth team.
Leaguepedia to the win.
TSM got it the other year. It was TSM.
Oh, it was Splice. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
it was
Splice,
Splice.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
Splice. Yeah.
Twitch chat with the save.
Thanks, Twitch chat.
Yeah.
Twitch chat's so much smarter than us.
Yeah, exactly. As they're googling away, making sure. I always knew it.
Sorry, guys.
I don't know why this helicopter's circling.
Oh yeah, CLG G2 rocks in A and X, and G2 goes 1-5.
Oh yeah. Okay, that was the
Or 2
like
and
I think
4,
that
guess.
was the meme, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, G2 and 4. That's where that came from.
Yeah.
I think that's still unforgivable that happened. I'm not gonna lie. That was crazy.
Yeah. I love that GT will never live that down. It feels like people always bring it up.
Hey
no
guys,
matter what they achieve.
G2 also played the MSI final in 2000 last year in Brazil against SKT
Yeah.
and
I don't remember.
and
that.
took one game off them.
Yeah, so did CLG in 2016.
Yeah, exactly. So that's I think for NA and EU, that's like our claims to
MSI.
fame.
Yeah, we can actually make it work. Something
Yeah,
happened
and
recently.
MSI is actually more difficult because it's the hardest, like the #1 seeds from L region. So yay CLG and G2.
It's actually easier because there's only one Korean team.
Oh well, potato,
Yeah.
frittata, frittiti. What?
Good morning, Sjokz. Eduardo, do you have any other thoughts or follow-ups there?
I just wanted to say that if things are not working for C9, they have the 6-man roster, right? They have Svenskeren to rely on if they need to change things up. That's pretty much it. And
Yeah.
thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, Sjokz
Well-
brought that up too. I don't know. I just don't believe that Svenskeren's the guy that's going to lead them. No offense to Svenskeren. I just don't think you sub him in and then he leads them out of the group of death.
Yeah, I think he's good, and like if the best of 5 versus Gambit starts going bad, I think Svenskeren is the perfect guy to sub in and like return things to normalcy. But when you're talking about beating RNG and Samsung to like get out of that group, you need like I think it's gonna be Blabber like just has the greatest games of all time, and like they just
But you
snowball
know
really
what?
hard.
We keep like being like, oh, Blabber, and he like goes in too crazily. But I feel like that's what you need in those best
Yeah.
of ones. That might really work.
You have to be a little insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to eat 5 Urgot ultimates before cleansing the 6th
I
one.
believe in Blabber.
That's what you need to beat them.
Eduardo, thank you so much for the call.
Bye.
Thank you guys. Thank you
Obrigada.
for having me.
Yeah.
That's good Portuguese. Bye guys. Thank
Have a
you.
good one. It's so nice to have you here because international people call in, I just say goodbye.
I mean, that's just a one word in Brazil and Portuguese. Brazilian
I don't know it.
We need a Sjokz soundboard of her saying goodbye in like 8 languages.
Yeah, we just press that when we get an internet. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, on to the next caller. Oh no, it's Lubu subbed. That weird dude 25 gifted a sub. Gifted 5 subs. You, I Unlimited, Wylian 777, Frankenstein JT, Initial Void, Anti Cursor. I Karen subbed. Brain Bits with 100 bits. It's Slim. Burkle 24, Frozen State 777, The Lindbeard, Kaizuku 1337, Equal, and Nimad. Thank you all. You guys, I hit a new sub. I unlocked a new sub thing.
Yay!
We broke a record.
Great job.
Yeah.
Hey, do you know, it's so typical. Did you see that tweet where I get the G2 plaque off the wall?
No, I didn't see it.
And what? You don't follow my Twitter?
No, I muted it.
It was like, what? When they lost versus Supermassive and then they were looking like they were losing versus Ascension.
Hello.
But like this.
Hi.
Oh.
Hello, 1 second.
Hi.
We're almost with you. Sjokz is finishing her story.
Okay, sorry.
The one where I take it off the wall has like 8,000 favorites, and the one where I put it back only has
Where
like,
is it? Is it
has
this
like
one?
half. No, this is where I put it back, and it's like people just love to flame people. Is my
Yeah.
point. Like, look at the other one. That's
Okay.
that's the
This
best
one.
one.
This one.
How have you not seen this? This was popping off.
I mean, when did you post it?
Oh yeah, you're
In the
right.
middle of the
At
night?
4 a.m.
Yeah, I was asleep. Okay. So we do have a caller. Minty Frills has joined us. Welcome, Minty Frills, to the show.
Hi, thanks. I usually watch it on YouTube later because I'm in Sweden and it's 6:30 a.m. right now.
Oh, well,
good morning.
Why are you up at 6:30?
I lose track of time. I was working on stuff.
Very good.
So you
Graphics
haven't
for-
slept yet.
Yeah.
No, but I don't have to get up at any specific time, so it's fine.
Generally, whereabouts in Sweden are you calling from?
Stockholm.
Oh, nice.
Oh, awesome.
Very cool.
We love Stockholm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
There was a we love Stockholm, even if you don't. So that's good. Minty Frills.
No,
what-
Swedish people just don't say a very strong statement. It's nice. It's
Yeah.
not amazing.
Listen,
It's good.
Stockholm is fucking incredible. Minty Frills, what do you want to talk about
Thanks.
on the show tonight?
Yeah, I think that Gambit have the potential to beat out C9, which I was rooting for C9 and Gambit while watching all week.
Yeah.
And then they're like gonna play against each other, and I'm like, I'd rather Gambit win because they
European.
have been doing some really creative comps. And the Carter's Gen Nocturne at MSI this summer was just so good.
Yeah.
And I just want to see more people play different things.
Minty Frills, I think you stayed up really late. You seem a little tired.
Yeah, I have.
Listen.
No, I just mean in your takes. Like I'm not sure.
You would have to be delirious.
Yeah,
to
you
root
really
Gambit.
need to sleep because I think you're losing it a little
So,
bit.
I will say that Gambit is like, so I agree with you that the MSI Gambit, that was the one I was excited for. Like, they did some stuff with the cards, with the Nocturne. I was like, whoa, and it worked in the best of ones. It didn't work in the best of fives, or they didn't have enough up their sleeve. But I haven't seen any of that now, and overall they just look worse, right? It's like they haven't found a good approach for them. So I would have given it to them more at MSI than here.
But we did just talk about how C9 sucks right now. So,
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, and I mean, I heard you were talking about like the meta before, and that you think it, like, people are saying it's settled, and like I'm just thinking of StarCraft 2 and how the like Zerg Protoss meta like changed after forever of nothing happening. Somebody just figured out another way. So I'm sure people can figure out new strats that nobody thought of like even if nothing changed.
Yeah, that's a really good point, by the way. Now more than ever is the time to be innovative, because everyone's so used to the idea that you can play like, oh, now we actually have a stable meta, now we can just rely on what we know. But if some team can actually come out with something that nobody expected, which, of course, there's probably undiscovered stuff in the meta, you could really suddenly change things up.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely undiscovered stuff, but the hard part about discovering it is you have to have it. Like, for the most part, even if it is like a new thing that you're discovering, you still test it in scrims. You have to like go through a lot of things to figure out exactly how it works, what it's weak against, and when you can pick it, and all that kind of stuff. And from what Gambit has said, they've like their scrims have been like a little hard to get and a little sketchy, as well as the fact that they have, from what they were saying, like they've been playing a ton of tournaments over the past like 3 months or something, like traveling all the time. So it feels like they have become slightly like out of practice in a sense with like what the current meta is. And if you're going to innovate, it's usually good to know like how to play the current meta. And it just feels the comps that they were playing and winning with were still things where like they're leaving up Akali's and Aatrox and Urgots and all these stuff, and it doesn't feel like they play with any of the power picks well. And it's I personally think it's kind of hard to figure out how to counter those kinds of things if you don't even know how to play them or like know that kind of stuff. So not counting them out 100%, but it does not look good in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm mostly what I am hoping for. I just want to see teams play something that's different. I'm sad Griffin didn't make it. Because they played Teemo bot lane.
Yeah.
And they won. I know that that's not what carried the game, but it worked for the team comp they were doing.
Yeah.
Like that. I wish teams would do that more. I think that's a way to get fans for your team.
I actually agree. Like did you see Kaboom? No, they didn't make it. And Chitan, you're all triggered now. He played Vel'Koz in the bottom lane. It's like his second most played pick, and he dominated with it. And sometimes I think about this whole, the patch had like we could play mages in the bot lane, and I was like, what if you could always do that, right? It's literally just a shift in your
perception.
Yeah, in your perception, because you can do that if you build a comp around it now as well, and you could actually always do it, but we're very set in our ways, and obviously the DPS by AD carries and late game team fights and whatnot, I understand, but if you are very good like he was on that pick, then why not?
Well,
that
game's a great example of how to do interesting new picks correctly versus the comp that they were playing against doing it the stupid way, where like you early and basically blind pick your innovation of Soraka Vayne, and then that gives the enemy team the... What's that?
His cat.
She saw your cat.
Oh yeah, he's always fucking around in the background. But that's like how you want to do it. Is like you have this Vel'Koz, you end up flexing it down to the bot lane. That was all great. TSM was still playing Pyke Swain a little bit towards the end of the year, and I think like if you're against Sneaky and he's playing Kai'Sa all the time, and you want to try and abuse that as Gambit, and you have Pyke Swain or Brand other bullshit to try and shit on it, like that's the stuff I want to see where it makes sense and it's not just like innovation for innovation's sake.
Yeah, I mean like with not like signaling what you're going to pick so obviously, like compare that to Griffin and how when they picked Teemo the first time, like the casters legit thought there was something wrong. They thought were going to restart roster and that there was something wrong. They did not believe it. Like I was watching it and the casters, like 10 minutes into the game, it still felt like they were... Are we sure that they did this? Because last time somebody played it, even in LCK, was like 2016, where somebody picked it by mistake because they were hovering it and they fucked up.
Didn't Reginald play it at Worlds for Sirius?
Yeah, wait, like
no, they got knocked out already.
They were knocked out, but that was all the way back in like 2013, I think, right?
Yeah, but last was 2016. Twice it was played by one team that did it by mistake. Somebody was memeing and making fun of them doing it by mistake, and then accidentally also did that by mistake, and somebody ended up having to play him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, but yeah, them doing it and against the Ezreal and I think it was Ezreal and Tom or Ezreal and Braum that they played it against, and they had really thought through that kind of strategy. And I really wish there were more teams playing anything else. And I wish we just got to see like G2's Heimer. And
Well,
wasn't
it's
banned
always
every game.
banned. It's always banned.
Banned, I know.
Ugh,
I
leave it
watched the
through.
game.
Yarnin is going to
All the
show
time,
you
I
all.
haven't seen it.
I mean,
No, that's why it's
that
banned.
sounds like
You've
the
already
opposite of
shown
what
it.
we want. Is for him
Yeah,
to
I
cancel.
know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish Deftly got to play it more times. Like, that's another thing. I didn't give a shit about Golden Guardians until I saw the whole Deftly is learning to play Heimer and I watched the Heisendong stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, now I care.
Yeah.
Now I care about this team.
Minty, I feel like you watch a lot of.
Yeah.
Like, you're
Well-
naming off stuff from all over the place.
Yeah, no, I watch way too much. I'm like very I'm at home all the time because of like disability stuff, so I can't work. So I'm very no life. I watch NA most, but I watch most of the EU also.
Yeah, I'm
like a level.
disappointed.
I'm a level 185.
Yeah, that's right. Another Swedish
on
caller who
Evolve.
watches NA. We get this a lot. Oh, there's a lot of
Yeah.
NA LCS fans in Sweden.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of European people just watch NALCS
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
hopefully also EU.
Because
but,
all their
you know.
players come here, so that's
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just
but-
gonna have more of my cereal.
Look, there's the cat. Be happy, Mark pulled the cat.
I
So,
learned that.
Minty, you're actually starting to get onto a point that I want to talk about with innovation, which is like if you just innovate a single pick, it actually gets dealt with very easily with just like the ban that's happening to Hjarnin. But what was really interesting about G2, or not G2, Golden Guardians at that time, was the fact that they actually had a number of really annoying like picks that were in the meta from solo queue, and like the Talons, the Heimers, the Fiddle, they had some other stuff that I can't exactly remember. But what basically happened was if you were red side against them, you couldn't possibly ban all those things. And so they were always getting one of their innovative picks, and that's why they went on that little tear before it all got kind of nerfed and stuff. So I think if you only have one innovative pick, like you can get that once in the best of 5 and that gets you one, but you really have to have a couple of interesting strategies to be able to actually like consistently do that.
But I mean, like, if you think about it this way, like, if somebody on your team plays something that they're really good at, that they usually never get to play it, right? Because it's always banned. Well, you only have so many banned, so if just everyone on your team has one pick that nobody wants to play against, are you just gonna ban those? And then you can have all the champions you want? Like, all the meta champs you want, because they have to ban your special picks?
I'm agreeing with you. What I'm saying is it's a lot.
No, I agree. Yeah.
It's actually really hard to get to that point, though. To find
Yeah.
multiple innovative, unique picks that you consistently win on and strike fear into your opponent, to find even 2 of those as an underdog is so hard to do.
That has no counter pick.
Yeah, right? Like,
But I mean, as an underdog,
it's a
yeah,
good-
but why aren't the top teams doing that?
Because you're expected to win already against them. So
Yeah.
you're just like, I'll pick Urgot, Aatrox, like whatever the fuck, and just stomp you, and you have to do something cool to upset me.
Either way, thank you,
Yeah.
Minty Frills, so much for the call.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
really nice calling while Sjokz is here. I'm always glad to see Sjokz, Avali, or Frosk. It's nice having more girls in
That it is.
Yeah.
Thank
like
you so
on
much.
camera and visible. But yeah, nice seeing the show live.
Have a
hope I'll
great day.
to catch you again. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bye.
thanks for staying up. Have a good one.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
She was a pro.
Yeah.
Watched everything.
Yeah. Literally. She should be an analyst for.
It's right.
Yeah. All right, Mark, you ready for next caller? Got a bunch of subs. In the meantime, Milkman Cometh, Goat Overlord, Keto Devil with 100 bits, Mar2586 who says resubscribe for Sjokz, buy her breakfast, Travis. I supplied her breakfast. It was an amazing breakfast.
Yeah, buy some other breakfast. Is there some avocado toast or something? Can
I don't
you
think
make an egg?
There's not avocado toast at 10 p.m. Anti-TP resubbed for 3 months. Gwilyn subbed. The Halmy, you sent 200 bits. Thank you, Sjokz, for the hard work. You and everyone in the EU LCS staff put on this year. It's a ton. I've seen the many Veti combo grow, while the great quick-shot Deficio combo taking more of a backseat. There's much more that I want to mention, but just know that all your hard work is appreciated.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot. We did work really, really hard. I mean, we always work hard.
Yeah. But it did seem like this was a watershed year for EU LCS.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, yeah. For the previous years, they were always like building stuff behind the scenes, like the player rooms, the control room, like so that we could do the show from EU entirely. Because before we always had, literally people would stay up at 3 a.m. in NA to help us with the show in EU.
Yeah.
So as of recent, it's all in EU, and we had the new analyst desk.
That is crazy to have people awake in North America helping with a show in another country.
Yeah, our producer Sam lived here,
that.
but like, yeah. Now that I do it, I know how hard it is.
Yeah. Seloniad, is that how it's pronounced?
It's Coloniad, but don't worry too much about it. It's a name I made up when I started playing the league.
Okay, Coloniad. Yeah, but I always want to get people's, even if it's a made-up name. Coloniad, what do you want to talk about? Sorry. First off, like, whereabouts in the world are you calling?
Calling from just outside New York City.
New York City. Okay, cool. And thank you for being a Twitch sub. What do you want to talk about on the show tonight?
So tonight I want to talk about Afrika Freaks. Specifically, I think that Afrika is being significantly underrated relative to the other Korean teams coming into Worlds.
Well.
Oh, I think I agree.
You agree? Okay, go.
Well,
for
I
it.
don't know. I just think, like, in public opinion and community, it's like with the Fnatic hype or whatever. The KT hype is really through the roof, and then with Gen.G, you always have, well, they're the current world champions, so they did it once, they'll do it again, even though, we don't necessarily know how they're going to show up. Plus, Ambition is in the Rise video.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you may be right. That's maybe a good thing for them.
Yeah, that is a good thing, potentially, but very true in that, like, you hear all the time about the other two Korean teams, and just, like, Afrika people, some of the NA people are like, is that from one of those other regions? Is that a... How'd they get in there?
It is an odd name.
Yeah.
Well, and they've sucked for a while too.
Yeah, they just haven't. It's kind of hype for them to build the same.
Yeah.
And you should never count out a Korean team. I think is a lesson that I think North America has learned for a long time. I don't know. What's your take, Mark?
Yeah, I don't think you should count a Korean team out either. In-depth analysis, Travis.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Team
That's
that
what I bring here.
Lost a single best of 5 to another region in Worlds probably shouldn't be underestimated. Good point.
Yeah.
I think the reason that you hear less about Afrika is not because people actually.
Oh, Colonia, I think you're maybe scratching on something.
Oh, sorry.
You're good. You're good. Go for it.
I was gonna say I think the reason that they feel less like they're underrated is that they just have like less storylines and less about like actually like what people think of their skill, because I haven't heard anyone say that they're not going to get Group 1 or like the Pool 1 seed out of that group. They're expected to get out of the Group A, I think, extremely easily. There's been a little bit of hype around Fungwu Buffalo, but other than that, it's like, no, Afrika's getting Group 1. Let's go talk about it.
It's almost like, and the other teams are almost like, well, that's the team I would want to be drawn against if I get drawn against the Korean team in the quarterfinals. And I kind of think that's fair, though. If you look at, like, relative peaks at the end of the season, which I think often happens also with second season and whatnot. Because one of them goes through the gauntlet, so has to be on the top of their game. The other one plays the final also. So, yeah, I think they might. I don't know. Like, it's hard to say, because if I say I don't think they will be as good as the others, and maybe they smash, but there's not as much storylines and not as much players that you're like, oh, Spirit's going to crush everyone or whatever.
Well, I also think it's just Group A. Like, people just aren't talking about Group A because there's no EU
no one
or
talks
NA.
about. Yeah, that's true.
It's like, man, that Group B is sure is a group of death, and then like Group C, oh, Team Liquid, what's going to happen?
I mean, if Flash Wolves show up like they did in the group stage of MSI, they will be great again. They were really good there, so we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting group that the West has less reason to care about, and Afrika, like you said, aside from the Spirit storyline and maybe Kuro, like a lot of people don't know shit about this team.
Didn't Kramer used to play for Flash Wolf? No.
He was a sub somewhere else, I think, but I don't remember who he was behind.
Seinfeld. Colonia, you were going to say something.
Yeah, so one of the things I actually kind of disagree with you guys on about Afrika is that I think that they're a significantly better best of team than Samsung is for a couple of reasons. First of all, sorry, not Samsung, Gen.G. I always get their names up.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, but I think that Afrika is a much better best of 1 team than they are. I would say that Gen.G is probably the better best of 5 team, just because they have a lot more experience on the world stage. But in terms of best of 1s, I would argue that Afrika is a much better best of 1 team for the specific reason that they're known for picking out-of-the-box strategies in regular season in LCK and winning that way. Spirit in particular is kind of notorious within LCK for bringing in out of the box picks and winning upset matches against top teams in LCK regular season that way. And I think that given their famously really good coaching staff and the fact that they generally don't scrim externally, so they basically can't get their strategies spoiled to other teams because of their internal scrim system, they could really do incredibly well in best of ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like the I Love Uv storyline and all that stuff, or whatever, however you say his name correctly. Their coach, I Love Uv, has a lot going for him, and I think when we get into the actual group stage of the tournament, you'll hear the analyst desk and the casters have a lot to say about this team. But I think with them not being in play-ins and not being, like we said, a sexy team to talk about heading into the tournament, there just hasn't been much hype around them. Though I do think a lot of people respect them, and a lot of the points you made, people agree with.
Yeah, and to your point, I think everyone or most people will say before you see the first game between Flash Wolves and Afrika, it should be, you can't really make a judgment call just because of how strong Flash Wolves are in their region and also historically at international events, most recently at MSI. But I don't think anyone would oversell Afrika in that group. If anything, they should get out so easily and probably should be the #1 seed. So, yeah, it's just about the storylines of other teams are so insane.
Yeah.
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 And
the
it's
boring
definitely
team, yes,
the
I
case.
agree.
And it's definitely the case that Afrika has way less big names than the other LCK teams going into this, so that has probably contributed significantly to their being underrated.
Yeah.
Do you think they're underrated or just under-discussed?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think they're underrated because they had a bit of a... Forgetting about that is that Korea played their summer playoffs on patch 8.15, which is several patches behind what most of the other regions played their playoffs on, and Afrika just really wasn't very good on that patch in general. So I think that they have the potential to be a lot better on the Worlds patch, on top of the fact that they are generally a lot better in like more regular season type settings. So that's where sort of the underrated side, and then they're also definitely discussed in Western scene.
Yeah. Colonia, thank you so much for the call.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah,
bye.
I think that beeping's coming from outside. Are you...
I heard a commercial about your CO, alarms or whatever.
Carbon dioxide alarms?
Yeah, that, they're about to all expire and you should all call their expert at 211 whatever.
Am I ordering food for you, or do you want to go someplace? What is the plan? Because we can order food right now on the show.
I might go.
Do you have plans?
Hang later, yeah.
Oh, you're leaving.
I might.
Did you think she was gonna spend time with you, Trav?
We can grab the next caller, Mark. We can move on. Let's see. Who do we have? There's subs.
We're gonna hang out so much in Korea.
And let's see. Gorlin.
I want to see chats.
The Halmy, Hawkwind 432, Kulid Hell, Blue Flame 520, Shurkon NA, Sliviv, Frugsy Bunny, and Squeak the Week, who says hi, Sjokz. Yeah, that's fine. No, I'm gonna.
You can't do that. You're acting like we never hang out, and we're like such good friends.
No, I just hope someday we can. It'd be cool to just kind of get to know you more. There's.
You're so full. I'm gonna find every picture we ever took in the last 5 years.
I'll just do a bounty after, because Twitch has got a bounty, and I'll just make some money. Inchlet, is that how you pronounce it?
For now, yeah.
Okay, for now. Oh, I don't. That's anyway. Where are you calling from?
Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus, Ohio. Okay.
I hear there's a party university there.
Is that true?
OSU party's a decent amount.
Okay.
Wouldn't be probably #3 party school in Ohio.
Okay, good.
What do you want to talk about on the show tonight?
I'd like to talk about how in the Worlds meta, you're especially rewarded for playing the power meta picks, and especially the ability to flex them.
It's do you want to? It's just mostly just about sort of the strength of the power picks.
Yeah.
Like Urgot.
Exactly.
Do you like that, or do you find that frustrating?
I don't really have a personal preference on that. I just think it is what it is.
Yeah.
I think that's a good approach, by the way. It is what it is, because, like, I already saw the whole, like, I'm so tired of seeing Aatrox, Urgot all the time, but I think the nature of top lane has been now for years that it will always be certain matchups, and then I prefer this over tank matchups, straight tank matchups, to be completely honest. Yeah. But it is just the name of the game that if you're going to play, like, I think it's such an intense period in the year where everyone also watches a lot more, because everyone all of a sudden is like, oh yeah, I'll watch the EULCS finals, and some people, and then most people say I'll watch the NALCS finals. I'll watch LCK, and I'll watch the Gauntlet, and then the play-ins start, and then there's like a million games a day, and then it like gets printed on your brain. It's just the name of the game, I guess.
Yeah. I think it's a little, I mean, it's true right now that like the Akali and the Aatrox can get flexed around a fair amount to different lanes, and even Urgot to that point, but I don't know if it's more rewarded in this meta than in other metas, because I don't feel like they have super hard counter picks that people are going for, and so I'm not sure, like, like it's all like, it feels like a lot of soft counters. Like Aatrox into Urgot is like a skilly matchup, and then like I think what happened in the G2 series where they tried to play the Galio and then they picked Urgot into it, like that looked really bad for the Galio, but I think it also looked bad because Perkz is way better than GBM and the whole team played a lot better. And so like, even if you did all that flexing, a Galio into Akali versus a Galio into Urgot, I don't think is that disastrous of a swap if like, it was true that Supermassive was actually a better team, or that they could play and actually challenge them. Like, it's a cute trick, and I think it did actually net G2 some tangible advantages, but I don't know if like the flexibility of those picks is really what's lending them so much power, or if that's like what's going to make them better this year.
Well, I think
just say like a GP that was fucking busted in 2015.
Yeah, I mean, I do think in the Supermassive game, part of it was, I mean, I know you were a little bit flabbergasted about the decision to like leave up the skill matchup, but like part of it was once they let the Urgot and the Aatrox through, like you have to pick the Aatrox, otherwise like Aatrox is getting flexed jungle or mid, and the game is like basically over in my opinion.
I guess that's true that power picks in the same role in this meta, you can't just like ignore them because they can take multiple of the same role power picks because they go multiple places. I guess that part's true.
Also, look out for the Pike power pick to be flexed. Yeah. I know Caps has been spamming that in solo queue, and I know it got buffed right before Worlds after getting played a lot.
I don't trust it. Caps fucking likes taking supports and trying to make them work mid. He did it with Rakan. I never played that at MSI.
Yeah.
Yeah, the AP Rakan build. I don't believe that's gonna happen. If it happens, great, but no way.
And Schlett, thank you so much for your call.
Yep, thanks.
Yeah, have a good one.
Dude, Caps. He did what did he do? Well, he played the Vayne versus Misfits, and he did pull out the Aurelion Sol, but many people did. Like, he also loves Aurelion Sol, doesn't he?
Yeah, and that Vayne looked like poop.
Excuse me, it carried the game.
By the way,
weren't they getting smashed by 5K and
yes,
then the other team sucked?
There was somebody in Twitch chat that I was ignoring for a while, and then Sjokz saw his demand, his or her demand, which was to say, ask Sjokz why she's so rude to Mark Z on the analyst desk.
I don't think I am.
Mark,
am I? Chat.
Mark, why do you think Sjokz is rude to you on that?
I think I'm an easy target,
Yeah.
Like, she only wants to bully people that has more influence than.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think she'd try and bully Jat, because Jat has a bigger following. Or like a bigger following than me, I mean. He has a sizable following, whereas I'm just a small little fry.
You guys, this is how rumors start. I do not, like, we're just, what's that called? Gesturing, or like, what's that called?
Banter?
No, with the swords. The tiny... Dueling. Like, you know what I mean? Come on, Mark. Set the record straight here.
It really hurts.
You're so full of shit.
What? See, this is what I deal with every day, guys. She just tells me I'm full of shit, and it's scary. I can't speak up. She just bullies me.
That's
Because sometimes you say completely outrageous things.
Yeah. I know. No, I think it's really funny.
Well, I think they're used to Dash, and Dash is very like the most he'll go on somebody who's like, now wait just 1 second. You know, like he'll do one of those. He's never gonna like.
No, I actually think that Dash, if anything, is more like stern very often. Like he's stern when they're like saying something he does not agree with. He like goes in. So, and I've been, you know, I also try to do that. Maybe it.
Mark, you work with
does
both.
it just come off that way because I'm a woman?
Maybe. Maybe people are just biased against that, but
no. I'm sorry. So to the people that wrote that, or to the person that wrote that, if that is the case, I don't mean to be rude to Mark, but I don't know if I will change it.
I think what it is just like the regional people who get butthurt whenever someone makes fun of their region. So like it's less about you versus me and more like you represent EU and I represent NA. And so like when you make a jab at me, it's like, oh, why is she such a dick to the NA people, you know? Versus
Mark,
like when Dash makes fun of me, it's just like NA pooping on
itself.
itself.
You're both on
NA. That's what I was gonna say. It's like, what's it like working with is one of them more stern or aggressive, or what's it like working with Dash and Sjokz?
I mean, they have their differences. Do you want me to just?
I mean, I don't want you to say. If you're
have you watched anything?
I mean, I've watched them.
Oh, okay.
I'm asking for Mark sitting there on the desk. Like, does he feel like he banters more with you, or that like Dash, you know, calls? I was just curious. I don't know.
I do feel like there's a little bit more like when Dash like challenges me or banters with me, it's usually like pushing more for like different analysis, like he didn't agree with a point or thought I made it poorly. But I think like with the fact that, like I said, it's not interregional. Like when Sjokz and I banter or go back and forth, it's more about like repping our regions.
The rivalry, yeah. But that's what Worlds is. We talked about
right.
this
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah.
I do think I like I've worked a lot on this year. Is like I do try and challenge you guys on like game stuff too, to the point that I actually got feedback after the first day that I was too like I should let them finish their point before I asked them. But yeah.
No, I think it's fine. It's just like, and even then, like a lot of the segments we do on like it's just like totally different. Like on NALCS Countdown, like we're fucking idiots. Like we do so much stupid shit, and that's some of the times where we have like the most banter is in segments that aren't being taken seriously at all. Whereas like a lot of the banter between Sjokz and I will arise in situations that are more serious. Or like like if we're talking about who's going to get out of this group and it's EU versus NA, it's like EU sucks. Whereas like it's like, hey Mark, here's a random stat that that you got right and James didn't. Go shit on each other.
I think it's also the nature of like it is like Worlds, and when it comes to that, we all know like the gravity of the situation. You can never lose sight of it, I think, because even if you're at home and you think, oh well, I don't know, Infinity's playing EDG, they're gonna get smashed or whatever, and then they won, but like to those regionals that are watching, that is their main event, you know, when they get to go up against the international team. So I think that's why things are maybe a bit less loosey-goosey, but I think we found a good balance so far.
I actually really like the desk. I think we've been killing it.
Yeah.
The actually you two are okay. Raz is really good. Raz is really good.
Actually, that was my biggest disappointment with Hotline League, is that Raz lied to us.
We tried to do a double feature where Raz would be in the first half and Sjokz would be on the second. So if you were disappointed with Raz's not being on the show, feel free to voice that disappointment with him on Twitter.
Yeah, it was funny. It was like, oh yeah, I'll be on Hotline League. Is that? Oh wait, that's tomorrow. Yeah, you're 1 day off.
Like at 6 a.m. You were there, right?
Yeah, at 6 a.m.
Like, by the way, I have a dinner actually I need to do. All right, thanks for asking.
Yeah, but hey,
he just has no idea what time it is because it's so fucked.
Hey, so can I? Like, I love talking about the desk, because like
I mean, I assume you have an appointment or something that you have to keep because you.
I'm going to hang, but like I'm fine.
You have to get out of here, so I just want to make sure you.
Travis feels like if you're not going to spend the next 3 hours here, why are you spending the next 10 minutes?
No. Just go ahead with the yellow.
That's how he does this to me all the time.
I just want to make sure you're not going to be late. You know.
We're gonna hang out in Korea. Listen, do you know how like all the other casters are staying here? We're gonna hang out. You, me, and Amelie. We're gonna hang out all the time.
You're like all my friends will be, so I'll have no other option. I understand.
They don't ever go out anyway. They don't leave the hotel. So
by the way, you know who is super disappointed twice now. So I let Brennan, you know, we were trying to, by the way, Sjokz hit me up when she was coming out and she's like, we should get breakfast. And then I was like, okay, let's get breakfast. And she's like, nah, never mind.
No, that's not, oh my God.
That's kind of, I mean, kind of true.
Yeah, I was like, I underestimated how tired I would be at the end of a 10-hour show while you were sleeping.
Yeah.
So no, I do not want to get breakfast.
Anyway, but Broden really wanted to. I told Broden that we were.
Oh, Broden was going to be there? Aw.
I told Broden that I was going to get breakfast with you, and he literally invited himself. He's like, let me go. And then whenever I found out that you weren't going to be able to go, he sent me he was like, so when are we getting breakfast with Sjokz? And I was like, no. He's like, oh, so sad. And then today you went to Bondi Harvest.
Yeah.
Which I love Bondi Harvest, and I go there.
Yeah, but that was a business meeting.
Yeah, but he didn't know that, and so he messaged me. He's like, you took Sjokz to Bondi Harvest, but not me. And I was like, no, I literally did not go. Broden is very excited to see you, I guess.
But Broden's going to be in Korea too, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so excited to hang out with you guys. In Korea, do you know this is where it all started, chat?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys were born in time, but this was 2000. Oh my God, why did I sound so funny there? This was 2014 Worlds. Yeah. Right? Because we went to Singapore also.
Taiwan, Singapore, and Korea.
And then we went to Korea, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, shall we move on to the next caller?
Well, Sjokz says she wanted to talk about the desk.
Oh, the analyst does. Sorry. Talk about the desk. What were you going to say? Ignore Twitch chat. Here, I'm just going to cover it.
No, I like Twitch chat.
They're saying disparaging things about me. I don't want you to read that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, not that they're saying disparaging, but yeah, I had because I hadn't done analyst desk at international events years before either. Oh yeah, can I? So this year, and I had done the desk for 3 or 4 years or whatever, and I lost a bit of motivation in previous years because EULCS was all the things that you guys were seeing that weren't working. Obviously, we were feeling that as well, and then we kept seeing all this EULCS sucks, the production sucks, it's so bad. And when you see that every day a million times, when you know the reasons why, but you can't speak on it, and if you would, it wouldn't help anyone because it would sound like an excuse.
Sure.
Because we knew all these things were being built and stuff. So then this year, I was like, all right, I'm just going ham, So
you're the reason that EULCS is interesting this year.
No, of course not. I think a big unsung hero is our producers. Before the year, we always have this big brainstorming meeting on what we want the show to look like, and they're like, listen, we're not doing post games anymore. Yeah. And we were the Fisho, Verius, and I were like, what? Yeah. But it turned out to be a really good change, to emphasis on storytelling and whatnot. So yeah, and I put a lot of work in it as well. And that's
Razzleplasm showed up in chat. He dropped an emote. So he's very clearly not that busy. But no, that's cool to hear. What was it? Do you think there was any one thing that was
better?
That led to you guys, because you've had a ton of success in EULCS. I don't make fun of you guys nearly as much as I used to.
It's shifted from making fun of the EULCS and more about making fun of their players and how we're going to buy them.
That's our last.
That's what you have to do.
And then you'll franchise next year, and then we'll have nothing.
It's called permanent partnership.
Yeah, whatever.
So I think actually, the show got not better, but I think we also got really lucky because the storylines just got much better. The teams, the teams were actually very competitive in spring, and we had this whole every game counts thing. It was super close, and then there was a new champion. Well, people were frankly, when someone wins a lot, people get tired of it, so they're happy to see a new team. And luckily, it was the historically most popular organization ever, Fnatic, that won with Reckless as the MVP. You can't really ask for much more as a broadcast, so we got lucky also storyline wise. But I also think we just told people's stories better. PGL, we had people on, and then players could say what they wanted, and it's been good. It's been good.
Yeah,
I think it's fair because I was asked the difference between you and Dash. I think you should tell me the difference between Deficio and myself, or Vedius and myself.
I think you all three share the quality that you work very well in a broadcast live environment. That when there's, when you need to fill something, when you need to step in, when you need to round something off, or when there's needed an opinion, plus you always give a good opinion, right? But you work very well in the movements of the broadcast and also camera and whatnot. And I think maybe that they take more of an active forefront where they feel really passionate about their analytical points, and that you're also fine just letting the other person speak and then jumping in or after jumping in and stuff like that. I don't know. Although, usually you always jump in first. Now to come to think of it. And also when I arrived first...
I think it flipped a little more, where initially I was letting Raz talk a lot more,
Yeah.
where we were like kind of finding our rhythm.
Yeah, now you talk most. And I also think like, I think in EU they're a bit more proactive because we've been doing it for so long with like, if there's a segment, they like go, hey producer, I would like a full screen graphic for X. I would like a featured matchup graphic for X. I would like a replay. I would like to slow down. I want to do this at the telestrator. Where I think you guys, because you had such an awesome crew, they would often give you guys like, hey, do you guys want to do this? And I think like you and me now over the past couple of days, like you've done more of that now because that's just the way I like to do it, maybe. But I don't know for post games, but I'm not sure.
I think a lot of the first part was just seeing what other people were gonna do.
Yeah.
Like I've never worked with Sam, so I was like, let's see what Sam does.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Let's see that.
Let's see what Raz does.
Let's maybe let's take our caller who's been hanging out in the waiting room for.
Let's just kick him. You know.
All right, last caller for me.
Yeah, I'm aware. You've got someplace to go.
But
This is the last caller in the waiting room, so we're good.
Yay.
Thank you, Frugsy Bunny, Squeak the Week, Ubi96, Comrade Unicorn, the Kodiak Kid, Ateo Rachel, hi Rachel, and Rise for the Prime sub. We'll do one more shout out of subs after this call, so this is your last chance to board. Hi, Space Pope 20K.
Hey, what's going on, Travis?
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Flint, Michigan.
Flint, Michigan.
Second time.
Yes,
second
we've had
time
you on
caller
before.
I called when you had Double Lift and Kelby on.
Yeah, you only come for the big episodes, apparently.
Dude, Sjokz is great. You have to be here.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
also his topics are so fucking good. He's not gonna waste them on just you and I.
Okay, Space Pope. Your topic, I just gotten hyped up for it. I don't know what it is, but
Are you the Pope of Space?
So my topic tonight, similar topic to what I talked about last time, is that I think TSM, in taking Sven and Mithy, not only did it hurt TSM and fill me with delicious Reginald tears, but it saved Europe and it has helped show their up-and-coming talent. Like Jizuke, I know he's a different position, but it's helped teams like Vitality show their new talent off. For instance, like Upset in the 80s carry role from Schalke had a great year this year in Europe, you know? And I think Sven and Mithy leaving the region has helped a lot of other players get into positions to like really show what they do. Another example, I guess, could be, if I pronounce it right, Wadid on G2. I think he's an animal. He carries Hiernan a lot, I think. But yeah.
This is Space Pope. This is such a great question because it's got all the best things. You know, it's got like TSM and TSM hater stuff. You've got like an EU thing in there for Sjokz. Like, there's just all this great stuff in there. So thank you for that.
So I think.
Are you happy Mithy and Sven left?
What? No, of
well,
course
it's
not.
a two-parter. It's not.
Yeah.
Are you happy that they left, but in doing so, it ruined TSM and G2 a little bit to allow other teams their moments to shine.
So like that part actually turned out to be good for the league, right? Because G2 won all the time, but I, as a like, because I know a lot of people like to hate G2, but I would have been fine if they like grew and got stronger and had a great international showing at Worlds with this lineup of G2. And I don't really, I'm not a hater, so that they do bad in TSM, that doesn't make me happy. I know it makes a lot of people happy. But I do think maybe you have a good point. Like, I think the stars that have arisen in EU would have risen no matter what, but it definitely left more room for new people to step up, and they really took to the challenge. And I think the broadcast also maybe overdid it a bit, because like, the Italian stallion, but that's our job, right? So, yeah, you may have a small point. A small point.
A small point?
A point.
I'm sorry, it's a small point. I think it's a big point.
I think sorry, a point.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, the TSM and the G2 fan base, if we look at it objectively, you know.
Oh my God, Broden's here! Hi.
Hello. This is the problem with Broden. He makes everything about himself.
He saw Sjokz on stream and he had to run over.
Is that what happened?
I didn't though. You off for breakfast. I went breakfast with someone else.
Broden, did you
mind.
come
He
over
said
here
that- he
just
said that
because
I
you
believe
saw
I went for
Sjokz on
breakfast,
stream?
Which was not true.
What did Mark just ask me?
Never mind. What?
I believe you, though. I believe you.
Mark is asking if you ran over.
I ran
after
over.
seeing her on stream.
No.
Because
in the neighborhood.
Can you crouch down or something? Your torso is not.
I was in the neighborhood. Yes.
Those pictures.
Oh yeah,
that
the
is
pictures.
so good.
Yeah, because we had just finished talking about how you.
Who else is in the background?
It's Kelsey. How
Yeah,
you
everyone
were so obsessed with.
Everyone should get in the shot so I can see what the fuck is happening. I feel so left out.
I mean, I just the lesson here is I need to start locking my door. We were just talking about how you were like really sad that you couldn't get breakfast with Sjokz and all this stuff, and like you messaged me. You're like, you went to Bondi Harvest without Sjokz, and so then it was funny that moments later you would show up in the shot of
it now seems like a hilarious conspiracy.
Yeah. What's going on here?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
When are we going to Korea, you guys?
Sunday.
2 days.
Yay, me Monday.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about this.
Yeah. Whatever.
All right.
Anyway,
I thought we were gonna be like two passing planes.
No.
Kind of deal.
No, I'll be there. Be rocking.
can we?
I'm sorry, Space Pope.
Oh, it's all good. Very smooth, Broden. Oh, you're going too. I like it.
Okay. Oh my God, the cat. Is
You
the
guys are having a party, so I'm just consoling myself with the cat.
He's big, isn't he?
He's a fat.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Okay, Space Pope. To I don't know. Maybe we should just wrap it up. I don't know if you have any extra thoughts that you want to put in there. I know we were kind of interrupted. Broden interrupted.
Yeah. So I mean, I was a TSM fan basically since I'm old school. So since Dyrus joined the team, right? And with all the roster changes that TSM has made over the years, this time around, when you have Hanser, who I guess historically I'm not the biggest fan of, and you've moved Sven Skaren, who I thought would excel on a team outside of TSM, so I'm a big fan of him. But you've brought in Mike Young and Grigg, who look how they've done, and then you have Bjergsen really as the only name still with the TSM org attached to it. As a fan, it felt very much like Mercenaries for Hire. And it showed a lot with their team play this year, right? They played to their individual talents, and it seemed as though they were kind of, at times, maybe afraid to step on each other's toes or afraid to be the one to make a mistake and look bad for the team. And they weren't all-inning with that team synergy. So while I'm sure in scrims, Sven and Mithy being great individual talent had leveled up NA over time over the year playing against them, it in the long term I think has hurt TSM. Hurt the TSM brand and their fans, and it's given orgs Team Liquid or 100 Thieves, who just blew into the scene, Bible Thump Immortals if they were still around. There's all these other orgs that are getting to shine in NA, and talent that's getting to shine even definitely on the come up, right?
Yeah, I do think a bit it's revisionist history because when you look at TSM and how the budget and how they want to craft the best team, Sven and Mithy are one of the best pickups you can make, right? And that it didn't work out is something that we don't really know what happened. And I think you make a good point that mentally maybe they had the feeling of well, we come in here and we're the Lord and Saviors and we're supposed to make everything better. And when we fail, it's gonna be magnified into oblivion, which is what happened. But on the other hand, I don't think you can blame TSM for making the pickups they did. If anything, sometimes I think they just have to go all in and just change everything.
No one would be saying they sound like they were like Mercenaries if TSM was going to Worlds right now. I think
right.
It's just this thing.
I think part of it was too that I don't know how you improve based off who you had in NA, Doublelift, Biofrost, Sven, Hanser, and Bjergsen. A lot of those guys were in contention for best in their role.
Yeah.
And it sounded like maybe they wanted someone instead of Biofrost, but if they were going to get Mithy, they needed to bring Sven along, and then Sven was someone that people wanted, maybe moved around, but who were you planning on getting? I don't know. I think they had a really tough job of trying to improve a roster that was the best domestic team for 4 splits in a row.
Yeah.
You're going to be taking risks when you try and improve a roster that good, and it didn't work out. But I think them going for it was the right move. If
anything, I'm the thing of TSM just not an NA not getting out of groups and stuff. I don't know. It's all very. It must be a mental thing because I thought about this the other day. It's in all these tiebreakers, we have the stat how EU is always winning the tiebreakers, and then when it's versus NA, and so many times they've played tiebreakers versus an NA team that was better. That showed better games at the tournament they were playing and was better at that moment, and even won the games versus the EU team previously. So it's weird.
Yeah.
I think NA has a bit of a choking problem for sure, where like they let the fact that like we're a poo-poo region, and then like, oh, we have the chance to break that mold, and then that pressure gets. Well, I think the pressure gets to them of like that's the narrative, you know, like we're usually so bad that like as soon as one team starts doing well, it's like we're doing it.
Yeah, it's that weird thing. Either way, thank you so much, Space Pope, for the call.
And good luck in governing the religion of the space as the Pope.
I appreciate it, Sjokz. You guys have a good night. Good morning to you, I guess.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
All right, well, just a couple of shout-outs here at the end. Thank you to Vangvase, Abiasoni, Easymoto, and her hosted me. Thank you to all those. Shout-outs, plugs, anything at the end here. Anything that you want to say, Sjokz?
Support Travis Gafford. He's the best, and I love you guys.
Just say Twitch Prime.
Twitch Prime, support Travis.
Yeah, there we go. See, like, there's one right now. It's just it's gonna light up now that you've done
Yay.
it. So I'm saying Twitch Prime.
Sjokz, you still eat mayo off the jar? Do you have some?
I don't. I thought I should have brought you some mayo, but I don't. None of these people.
You unsub because he doesn't have mayonnaise. Just kidding. So.
See, look at the Twitch Prime. It just fucking goes.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy.
I do still eat mayonnaise out of the jar, but yeah. I don't know. Kind of like mustard now too. So you have.
Do you eat mustard out of the jar?
No, I don't.
You just combine these
I don't
and
eat
like
any.
spoon?
No.
The Twitch Prime thing totally worked. That's awesome.
Cool.
Mark, anything for you?
No. We will have a new offline TV video coming out soon. It'll be fun and different and not everyone's just sitting on a couch. So if you guys haven't watched offline TV shit, you should do that. Other than that, you know, watch.
Mark, this is Mark. Normally he has nothing to say, so I'm surprised he has something.
This is
usually
supposed to be his daytime.
What does that have to do with anything?
Wait, and I mean to you?
Wait, I understand what the comment was. It's just because it's my daytime.
Mark, do you have anything besides the offline TV video?
Watch Knockout Stage tomorrow with Sjokz and I, where we say mean things to each other.
C9's actually playing at a perfect time for America. It's like, I believe it's like 8:30 p.m. PST. So, watch it.
So for Mark and I, we're going to try and do a Hotline League. We're going to try to do multiple Hotline League episodes while I'm in Korea. Keyword is try, because who knows what hotel internet is like, and all that stuff. But I think we're going to definitely try to make it happen. Mark and I need to figure out what that looks like and time zones and all that stuff. But Hotline League will hopefully be happening in Korea soon. For me with Mark here. So please take a look for that. I head out there on Sunday with Broden. We're gonna have some fire content going, so please stay tuned for that. Thank you to everyone who hung out. I'm gonna hang out and stream for a little bit after this because Sjokz has to leave, unfortunately. But thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sjokz. Thank you, Mark.
Bye-bye.
This has been. Did you say Bud Light?
Are you guys going to the place?
Yeah. I am.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not going. I guess I'm not invited.
What are Broden and Kelsey doing?
Oh, okay.
Jesus.
Well, now.
What are they doing?
What?
are you guys doing?
Don't invite them.
Cool.
All right. This is Hotline League episode 47. Thanks for watching.
Bye.